they starting here at 6 minutes?
I know, that's what I'm thinking. Then you got to tell them that.
Good evening. Davison welcomes you to Cardinal Stadium for tonight's first annual Flint Area All-Star football game. Tonight's game will feature over 80 of the top players
From 30 different school districts in the
This year's senior class walked off the field for the final time on November of 2015, but for nearly of the 80 seniors that received one phone call, they'll get one last game under the lights here tonight. The inaugural Flint All-Star Game is the occasion on the campus of Davison High School, home of the Cardinals, and some of the area's best will line up and go head-to-head for bragging rights as to who will take the first. Welcome, everybody, to tonight's game. Chris Sherrod bringing you the coverage, and I'm joined by my broadcasting partner here alongside me, Caitlin Abdella. We thank you for joining us tonight on DTV, and we are definitely in for a good one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's game was made possible by the athletic staff of Davison High School. Cardinal head coach Kyle Zimmerman made all of this possible and reached out to Flint native Brandon Carr for the Dallas Cowboys. The Carr Cares Foundation was established by Carr, and a portion of tonight's proceeds will be given to Carr's charity to help better the youth of Flint through education and athleticism. Caitlin, to see all of this here tonight, and just the idea behind all of this, Carr giving some of these portions back to Flint and help better the youth of Flint and stuff. All these players and fans here, it feels good that this is more than just a football game tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely more than a football game. These kids thought they were done. Some ended on Ford Field, and they definitely thought they were just done for the rest of their high school season. And they got ready for for college, excuse me, and they just didn't stop. But now they're back at it with a week left. They had a week to practice for this game. So I think it's going to be a really good game. We're going to see what comes out of this week of practice, and they grinded hard this week.
They did. And kind of to touch on what you talked about really quick, a lot of these people thought that they were done. You know, they hang up the cleats and the helmet, and they're like, well, I just played the last game ever. And to go through the practice and stuff and to go through the week that they did, I can guarantee that a lot of those guys really miss that feeling of being able to lace up the pads and get some contact in, and I can tell you that they're definitely looking forward to tonight's game, as are we.
Yeah.
Brandon Carr, a graduate from Carmen Ainsworth, he went on to play for Saginaw Valley, where he was an All-American and then went on to the NFL. So him giving back to this is really awesome, and organizing this in such beautiful weather here that we have tonight at Cardinal Stadium. Caitlin, we were at practice earlier in the week. What were some of the things that you took away from those practices?
Well, I was on the grind side for most of the time, the team grind side, but I also went over to the rise side as well. On the grind side, I saw a lot of running plays, not a lot of passing, but definitely a lot of talking and getting along together. And on the rise side, I saw a lot of passes. So I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of a mixture of both.
Right.
But I know that this is going to be one of the best games.
I really hope so. And some of the things that I saw, too, I was over on the team grind side, that practice over on the varsity field, team rise, over on the JV, back behind the away bleachers there, and then, of course, the varsity field behind the varsity home field right here. But some of the things that I saw option passes. I saw some teams really shaking it up and getting really creative, so I hope that we do see that balance. But going back and touching on something that you also talked about, these guys really got along really well, and that's the cool thing is that these guys, some of them played on the same team.
Yep.
You have some guys from the same school on the same team, but Zimmerman and the coaches that were drafted for this really did a good job of splitting up the talent and getting guys on the team that they've never played with before. And that's what's really cool is you know, you played against them on Friday nights back in September, you know, even August, October, and then if you made it to November. But now it's June and the weather's beautiful out, and you get a good summer crowd here, and you can play with some guys that you've never played for before. And I think one of the really cool things, if you look at some of these helmets, the players have had a lot of fun trading away some of their decals. And you see some guys from Carmen Ainsworth, they have Clio, New Lothrop, Bendel, Bentley, Beecher, all on their helmets, and it's really cool to see them get along like that. But going back to what I talked about, most of these kids have not played football in a long time. It's kind of difficult to get an offense clicking at this level in just a few days. So that's definitely going to be something to look out for tonight. But, Caitlin, if you can predict a winner that you talked about, looking at both of these practices, who looked the most comfortable? Who do you think might come away with the win tonight?
You know, Chris, it was a really hard pick. I thought about this all week, just this game and thinking who's going to come out of this and win. But I honestly have to say, I think Grind's going to come out with the dub tonight.
I think you're right. I looked at some of the players on their roster, a lot of guys from Carmen Ainsworth. Carmen had a fairly good year this year, not their standard that they've had some really good years in the past. They were able to have a great year this year, however, but a lot of guys on Carmen Ainsworth, powers. We saw the mix of talent for them, but I do think that Grind, I will give them the props to their uniforms too. They look really awesome. Team Grind here on the left in the black tops and bottoms, and then Team Rise on the right that you're looking at in the all whites with the orange numbers. Now, Team Grind, it's going to be a grind trying to see some of these numbers as we move throughout this game here. Describing these jerseys, of course, on the front and back for the team name and last name where that would normally be, they have in chrome letters the word Grind, and then their numbers themselves are, the actual fill-in color is black, same color black as the jerseys, and then the outline is like a musky charcoal gray. And I was looking at the warm-ups earlier, and we might have a little bit of a difficult time trying to make some of these numbers out, but I don't think it should be too much of an issue. But taking a look at some of these coaches, what they did was Zimmerman split up the coaches into, there's no head coach quite, there's offensive and defensive coordinators. So on Team Rise, what they have is for defense, all from New Lothrop, they have Clint Galvis, John Long, Brad Barnett, and Juan Massey. And then on the offensive side, all from Flint Southwestern, Shane Klingman, Tiger Maxwell, Chris Wilson, Will Cummings, Cameron Stover, and David Johnson. And then what they did is they had a little bit of a draft. They basically pooled everyone, and they started drafting basically out of the pool. And they got their picks. I know that some teams out of the two, one of the two went with heavy linemen first to try and get that line established. The other half went for the skilled players. So it's going to be definitely interesting to see how that works out tonight. On Team Grind, the offensive coordinators, all from Carmen Ainsworth, Jerry Parker, Anthony Branch, Al Barron, Alan Overton, Doug Dixon, and Keith Tunstall, all from Carmen Ainsworth. Like I just previously said, Jerry Parker saw his Davison days back here under the Jake Emmendorfer era. He was one of the coaches back during that time. And then for defense, all from Bendel, Brandon Chapman, Jason Beverly, Dustin Carmick, Greg Cooper, Jesse Allums, Mike Thomas, and Dean Fuller. So I think it's going to be really cool to see, and we talked to Jerry Parker as well too, and he touched on this a little bit. It's going to be really interesting to see how these two coaching staffs coming from two different schools, how they were able to combine into one unit and make that work.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be awesome to see how these teams, like you said before, they went against each other and they played with each other sometimes.
Right.
And it's going to be nice to see how they get along on the field and just combine as one team as they played against each other previously.
We've had, before the game today, I've been in communication with Zimmerman, talking to him, and he was gracious enough to invite me to the team dinner that they had down in the athletic meeting room of Davison High School. And Sean Hart, a coach for Davison High School for the Cardinals, he was able to give a speech, what he calls Man-to-Man University, of something that he does at Davison High School, where he gave a really motivational speech to these young men, and he really said that it might seem that your high school careers are over, but real life starts right now.
Yeah.
And that was something that he really touched on, is that a lot of these guys, some might go on to play at college. A lot of these guys, this is the last time that they're ever going to take the field to play some football, and that's a really tough thing to swallow, coming from a player myself, stepping off the field for one last time. It's really difficult, and Cardinal Stadium, this field right here, was where I took my last steps as a player, and it's something really difficult to go through. But you know what? Looking at these guys getting this chance, it's almost like a second chance, really, to take the field and a last stand for these players to go on and have a great time. So both of these teams have been practicing since June 6th. As we previously mentioned, $5 at the door, just like a regular varsity game at Cardinal Stadium. And a portion of these proceeds will go towards Carr Cares Foundation. Brandon Carr, the Dallas Cowboys, with us here tonight. He will be doing the coin toss just as soon as these introductions wind up. What they did tonight for these introductions is they wanted to, of course we have all-stars here. This isn't just an ordinary team. Both of these teams have guys that were the all-stars at their school. So they wanted to respectively announce both teams. What they do is they have the coaching staffs making the tunnel here, lining up, and then they just go through and each individually announce each player's name and where they went to high school, as well as something notable about their days in their high school uniform. And I went through the packet earlier and I saw all conference, all state, even a lot of honorable mentions, and it's really cool to see all these are going to be playing tonight on two teams going up against each other. I'm really excited for that.
Well, I actually talked to a couple kids, Darrell Torber, Jordan Cooper, Kurt Schlack. They all said it's not even about competition anymore.
Right.
Like, this is just about playing their last game and maybe getting that last chance they needed to show off. And I asked what it's like to be working with teammates or teams that you went against before, and there was rivalry, and they even said, we put that besides us. We're here to play a game, and that's what we're going to do. We're not going to hold things back with each other.
That's really cool too, because to set that aside and come together as a team, that's really cool, because the conference games are over at this point. The rankings and the standings are all in the history books, and it's really cool to see that. Tonight, the only thing going in the history books is that these guys had the chance to suit up for the very first Flint area All-Star football game. And that's really something to be excited about.
Yeah, I could definitely tell these guys were excited about it. Even though they had to put in those days in the really hot sun and all those pads, they were still, still excited.
Now they had, throughout the week, through their practices, Coach Zimmerman did a fantastic job of really hyping this up for this year. And that was really awesome to see them just storm social media like that and hype it up. And if you take a look at this crowd, I think they did just that. You look at how many people are here. This is just amount, if not more, than a high school Davison football game. So that's really awesome to see that. Now we've got Brandon Carr right now going out to do the coin toss, nicknamed the Iron Horse. He recently received Oak Cliff President's Award for his dedication to the community and his passion to help young students throughout the Flint area. In 2012, Brandon founded the Car Cares Foundation, focusing on educational enrichment and physical fitness for youth. And driven by Brandon's passion for literacy, education, and his love for sports, the foundation provides students in Flint with opportunities to practice and perfect their literacy and athletic skills. The Car Cares Foundation supports and promotes child literacy by establishing reading centers. He just recently opened up his second one, as a matter of fact, implementing tutoring programs and providing learning tools to help young students. The foundation also encourages healthy living through physical activity and a balanced nutrition by supporting the NFL Play 60 program, offering football and cheerleading camps, as well as training programs for student athletes striving to develop their skills and techniques. And joining Brandon tonight are co-head coaches representing Team Grind, Jerry Parker, head coach at Carmen Ainsworth, and Brandon Chapman over at Bendel High School, the head coach there with their staff. And representing Team Rise, we have Shane Klingman, head coach at Flint Southwestern, Clint Galvis, head coach at New Lothrop High School, along with their assistants. Brandon doing our coin toss tonight with both of the teams out there. As we see, now our teams are on the same sideline, but when the game starts, what's going to happen is one team will take the home side and the other will take the away over there. But we roped off the visiting bleachers just to have all the fans sitting on one side. And what's going to happen is at halftime, the teams are going to switch, and the team that was on the home sideline for the first half will now go over at the away side, and the team that was at the away will now get the chance in the second half to come on over and be in front of their family and friends, as well as the general watcher for tonight's game. And I think if I was just an average citizen, I would definitely want to come out and watch this game, because it's going to be a very, very exciting game, I think, tonight.
Yeah, very exciting.
Now, we saw, too, a lot of that's going on throughout the practice. You could see the teams were just really having fun.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was going to be a lot of fun.
And what was also really awesome about these practices is the players got along with the coaches.
Yeah.
Even though those coaches were against them, and
at one
like we
point,
said with
right.
and we said with the players the same thing. They were still getting along with these coaches and taking what they had to say really into their consideration.
So the coin toss here, Team Grind won the toss and they deferred. So now they're settling out what's going to happen here. Looks like Team Grind will be on your left side. Team Rise, the coaching staff on your right, will receive to start the game. Coaching staff's shaking hands here as we're getting ready to go underway here from Cardinal Stadium. Beautiful weather, beautiful game so far in this game. Team Rise is going to receive to start the game, and Team Grind will be kicking off and will defer to the second half. And so Brandon Carr now still standing at midfield. But at this time at Davison High School, we're going to step aside for the national anthem, and we will rejoin you right after the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attendance and support of the student athletes and coaches is appreciated by member schools competing in tonight's event. The whole team may be rivals out on the field of play. Off the field, they respect one another for their commonality and their love for the game. They are expected to exhibit the qualities of good sportsmanship throughout the contest, and the Davidson Athletic Department requests the same from all of us fans here this evening. The athletes, coaches, and officials are guests for Davidson High School. All fans are asked to respect the effort of each team as they put forth preparing for tonight's contest. We ask all attending to show courtesy and respect for fellow fans, officials, coaches, and those administering the contest, and of course, your team and your opponent. And as important today as ever, please respect the game. The privilege of this game was made possible by those who have fought and continue to fight for the freedoms we enjoy. Let us honor and respect our country. My gentlemen, please remove your caps, and everyone standing at attention, placing your hands over your hearts as we proudly join in singing our national anthem.
And so it took the national anthem a little bit of a pause, but it was a respectful pause there to anticipate the anthem and that. But now both teams are on the left and the right side. Team Grind on the left, Team Rise on the right. What they're going to do now is both teams are going to take turns introducing themselves, and they look like they're ready to go right now. And so Zimmerman's giving us the thumbs up. Team Grind going here first.
Yeah, H-I-C-H-A-R would be the easiest way to phonetically do it.
And this is awesome just to see these two teams have fun like this with their entrances. And, you know, with Coach Zim, it's going to be nothing short of theatrics here. And Team Grind really pumping themselves up. He wanted this too. He wanted both of these teams to to get pumped up for this game. You know, don't take this lightly. I mean, they talked about it. You know, your friends and stuff through practice week. But I got a feeling once these pads start hitting here, and once people start hitting the pads and getting the hits rocking, I think that we're gonna pick up the intensity a little bit here. So I'm ready for this one to roll. As you can see, Zim just all over the camera work. Throw him a sideline camera. Get him on DTV.
I saw a bit of a preview.
Yes, they did.
On social media, and what I saw was, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So excited.
No, and that's what he does too. Zim is definitely a fan of the teasers all over social media with hyping up the game. So Team Grind now with their introduction, and now Team Rise is going to go ahead and do theirs. And I'm not gonna lie, I saw this one pretty earlier, and it was all right. The song choice is definitely a favorite, but yeah, it's gonna be exciting here. They've been taking so long. We're already at 7:30, but this game is gonna be really one to get excited for. As you can tell that the players, you just look at the players' enthusiasm right now. They're ready to go, as am I.
I'm just sitting here shaking.
Are you ready to roll?
Yeah.
Now, Caitlin, this is gonna be your first season doing all of the Davison games. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now you did last season Lapeer, correct?
Yep, the one against Lapeer right before they had playoffs. Right before playoffs, I did the Lapeer game. Right before they got pushed into it, into playoffs, I did that game. It was something, I'll tell you that. But I have a good feeling about this one.
Now, Brandon Carr had his youth camp today. That's what he did. It was actually his third annual free youth camp that he does. Morris Claiborne from the Dallas Cowboys, Eric Cooper from Central Michigan, Gerald Holmes from Michigan State, Vincent Smith, formerly the running back for the Michigan Wolverines. Just some of the few names that were some of the confirmed guests for Carr's camp that he held for the Flint athletes. Carr said, "I'm very happy to get back and watch the athletes mix it up in the All-Star game. I don't get a chance to catch many games in the area anymore, so it will be fun to watch all the area talent competing for a good cause." And if you think about it, I mean, the season's going on right when all the local games are going on as well, so it'd be very difficult for Carr to get this going, to be able to come back to the area and see all that. So complications aside, we are set and ready to go here from Davison High School. Both teams meet for one combined huddle, and this is going to be a great game here from
Chris, I got the chills.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a real thing. I bet.
It's 91 degrees out, and I've got the chills. I've got goosebumps.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And, yeah, both teams are very excited for this. One of the coaches, Shane Klingman from Southwestern, said, "I think this is an awesome way for the kids that may have been overlooked but are talented enough to play at the next level to get an opportunity, as well as those guys that want to be out there with their friends one last time." Either way, I'm just really excited for this game. And we talked about that too. A lot of these guys, they feel that they may not have gotten a proper look at colleges.
Yep.
I know that Oakland had a representative from their club football team that was here that we saw as well. And he said, Zim has my contact information. If you're, we just started our club program at Oakland. And it keeps you active at the collegiate level. It's not Saturday NCAA Division I, but to tell you the truth, to tell an athlete that they have the opportunity to just play at any level, they'd take it.
Yeah,
they'd take it.
They definitely. And I know I've seen most of these teams when we played Davison. I was down on the sidelines, and when they played Davison, excuse me.
Right,
and
no, yeah, right, I got you.
I saw so much skill, and I was surprised that most of these kids didn't get recruited for college.
Now, they changed up some of the rules for the area all-star game on special teams. Kickoffs into the end zone will result in the offense getting the ball at the 20-yard line. That doesn't change. Kickoffs that do not reach the end zone, however, will result in the offense getting the ball at the 35-yard line. So if it rolls, it bounces, whatever. Onside kicks are only permitted to the team that is behind in the last 5 minutes of the game. So no onsides unless the team absolutely really has to. All rules pertaining to the onside kick in a normal MHSAA game apply. So just as the anticipation was completely rising right there
I see
Ball
what you did
falls
there.
off the tee. It usually happens every now and then, but
One more time, let's stomp our feet as we begin our matchup here this evening.
they're set and ready to go here from Davison, Michigan. Team Grind will receive. Kick is off and underway. All the way back. That one's going to stop and bounce just short of the goal line, but it eventually will find the end zone. And a touchback in place. So Team Grind will set up shop at the 20-yard line. Now, this is the first time that we get to see these offenses come on out and really show us what they're really working with. Of course, practice, they're just practicing formations, but
Yep.
I'm really excited to see these teams come out and they're going to get game underway here. I've been ready for this all week, ever since I got the nod to do this, to tell you the truth. Kurt Schlack, he even told you, he said, when I got the call, I was ecstatic that I was going to have the chance to do this game. So rightfully so, all the way around. Feelings are mutual. That maroon helmet in the backfield might look familiar to any DTV crowd. That's Davison's Jordan Cooper. And Shimon Halvert from Flint Northwestern rolls out, catches a snap to the right side, fires a pass over right to the far sideline, but that falls incomplete for the first play of our game tonight. 2nd and 10 coming up, still at the 20-yard line.
It's intended for Derek Ross from Swartz Creek.
It looked like it was a little bit out of his grasp, but might have still been able to come on down with it.
14 Grind, number 1, Shannon Halbert in the shotgun.
Halbert will catch the snap. He will give to Cooper straight on up the middle. Cooper fights to about the 25, depends on where they mark him, 26-yard line, so 3rd down and just short coming up for Team Grind. We talked about that earlier too. Jordan Cooper, one of the higher picks from Team Grind here early on. Also in a Davison helmet over there, Remy Martin on the offensive line, off to the right side of the center. Halbert will take the snap. A give again to Cooper along the right edge as he looks to try and push for the first down, and they'll give it to him. Past the 30-yard line, Cooper broke.
I think we're going to expect a lot of running from Cooper today.
I think we will. I think you're right about that. Like we talked about, passing routes, that's tough to try and hammer down in the first week, but, let's see if they will get that going. Jelani Taylor, Eric Hildebrand, both of your split outs on the near side of the field. Halbert pump fakes and rolls, tries to fire a pass right on over the middle to Hildebrand, just high, incomplete. Looked like they had something to work with right there, but the pass intended for Hildebrand falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up for Grind. Beautiful weather here in Davison, Michigan. We had word that it was supposed to rain early in the morning, but it was supposed to peak on up to the 90s as the game took place, but fortunately not the case. All dry ground here in Cardinal Stadium throughout the day. The Coop right on up the middle, trying to break the line at the 35-yard line, just only a couple yards there. And that's another thing too, offensive line, to get them on the same scheme. It's tough. So talking to some of the Davison coaching staff before the game, we really thought that this might just be a defensive standout for some of this game. You hope that you're going to see some flash on offense. But,
I saw a lot of defense.
Yeah, logistics considered, it's going to be tough for these teams to roll on offense, but this is a team of all-stars. Halbert with the give to Cooper, trying to find space on the sideline. He is wrapped up, trying to fight back to the line of scrimmage. He will not. Drop deep in the backfield. Fought his way, eventually trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. Had no room to work with right there and was tackled by a swarm of Rise players. That will bring up 4th and 10. They're going to bring out the punt unit. And punt receive, also some of the rules that changed here in the game. If the punt is caught clean, then the ball will be advanced 10 yards from the spot of the catch. If the ball is dropped, then the offense will take over at the spot of the attempted catch, so not where it bounces, but where it was intended to be caught. If the ball is snapped over the punter's head, it is dead where he picks it up, and there are no fake punts. As you see, both teams allowing him to pick it up. Ball bounces right at the 39-yard line, or 34-yard line, excuse me, and Team Rise will take over on downs. Quick first drive right there from Grind. Caitlin, what'd you see back through that drive that Team Grind just had?
Well, I saw running. There was, okay, I'm just going to go to Rise. That defense is gonna show up
I think
throughout
so
this
too.
whole game.
I think so too. I mean, you looked at Halbert trying to get the passes down. That's something that it'll settle down eventually as the game goes on. But looked like he couldn't get on sync with his receivers. Just a little bit too high on both of the pass attempts that he had.
Right.
Team Rise taking over at the 30, 33, 34-yard line, split right in the middle. They have trips formation out to the near sideline, off the give, straight on up the middle, and he's hit hard at the 37-yard line. A big hit right there.
One of the
36-yard line.
defensemen that stood out to me this week was Tolbert
Yeah.
from Powers.
Okay.
And I know, I'm not even going to think on this. I know we're going to see a lot of him pushing.
Darrell Tolbert from
Yep.
Powers
yep.
Catholic High School.
He's on the
8:40 and counting in the first quarter here. 2nd down and 7 coming up from the 36. Catching the snap is Aginski. And that's Lewis. He's going to run along the near sideline, breaking across the 40, 35, 30, catching a block. And we might have the first score of the game. All the way down to the 1-yard line, and he's stopped. Have a day, young man, but not quite. Just stopped at the 1-yard line. He thought he had pay dirt on that one, but was just stopped. Oh, it looked like he had it.
yeah, it definitely did look like he had it. I think he thought he had it.
Yeah, that was close. That was definitely close. Simeon Kemp with the reception all the way on up the sideline, and man, it looked like he thought he was going to. He caught all the right blocks, but nonetheless, he set his team up with beautiful field position right here, knocking on Team Grind's doorstep. Catching the snap and rolling on out to the left-hand side, straight on up the middle, breaks the plane, touchdown Team Rise. 8:04 remaining in the first quarter, and Team Rise on the board for the first time today.
And what a hassle that was to get into that touchdown zone. It was just a pile of guys just standing there, and then you get the signal.
That's what you get at that point, is to sometimes just give it to your back, let him do his thing, crash right on up the middle.
Yep.
And that he did.
And it worked.
So bringing on the field goal unit for Team Rise.
Number 84 will hold the ball. Noah Trent from Montrose.
See how the wind plays into effect.
All right. Tyler Birch to kick. Up and splits the uprights, and it's good. So with 8:04, 7-0, and Team Rise fired up on the sideline over there, and they have every right to be.
What a play that was. He just ran right through. And the defense, we thought defense was going to be a big thing, but that field was empty. Down on their side, it was empty.
It looking like it's, I mean, we talked about defense is going to be a factor, and I still do think it will be today, but that one play that Kemp had that was down the sideline, that really set up Team Rise. And I mean, it's really hard for Grind to try and stop on the goal line. You know, you obviously try to strive to, but you know, a lot to ask for a defense to try and come up with a stop on 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. So that's a tip to Kemp for setting up his team with a beautiful opportunity to score. And took not a lot of time for the Team Rise to get on the board. Team Grind a little shooken up. Let's see what they'll respond with here. Both teams set to kick. Set to kick. Birch takes a deep setup at the 30-yard line. Of course, he's the kicker for Rise on extra points and on kickoff. Nice boot all the way on down, and it's going to break on over the head. So that's the 2nd kick that cannot be returned for Team Grind. No time goes off the clock. Grind will set up at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10. Now, looking at the drive that they just had, looking like they couldn't really get the passes down, but I think that they will here as in this drive. Halbert's going to try and find his arm right there because They do definitely have some speed on offense, but we did see a lot of running formations. Team Rise, they came right on out with they had trips to the near side and just one receiver on the far side. So they came right out in passing formation and it definitely worked out. But yeah, Team Rise on the board first, 7-0 here. 8:04, of course, no time left since the touchdown. Off the snap, straight on up the middle. Halbert is wrapped up and dropped, but picks up about 5-6 yards right there. 2nd down and 4 coming up for Team Grind. We saw Hildebrand in motion, kind of threw the defense off a little bit, not expecting where the ball was going to go because it looked like he was going to give the snap to Hildebrand, but Halbert kept it himself, tucked it straight on up the middle, and picked up a fair chunk of yards. 2nd down and 4 coming on up. Halbert fakes the give to Cooper, rolls on out to the near sideline, trying to break the 30. He will, up the sideline and out of bounds at about the 42. He got a nice little attaboy out of the off the field and into the sideline. But Halbert does pick up the 1st down. 7:20, clock stops as Shimon finds the sideline. And the chains will reset themselves up at about the 43-yard line.
Cooper up to the side. Took the pass.
That's a monster hit right there. Goodness gracious, son. Wake up. Quentin Taylor from New Lothrop coming up and setting the edge. He denies the 1st down, but Team Grind across midfield, now set up at the 49-yard line.
Even the crowd responded to that one.
And that's what they came for. You know, they came for to see those hits like that and big plays. Halbert sets Hildebrand in motion, gives it to him along the right side, pushing up the edge, trying to find a seam, breaking across the 35, wrapped up and tackled at about the 33-yard line. And so Team Grind got the 1st down and in big measures right there at that.
Brought down by Milton Gordon from Flint Southwestern.
That's a big tackle too, because that was well in the secondary and looked like a couple more shakes and they might have had 6 right there. But clock will continue to roll as we are just about to break the 7-minute mark here in the 1st quarter from Davis, Michigan. Chris Sherrod, Caitlin Abdallah bringing you the coverage from Cardinal Stadium. We thank you for listening to today's game on DTV, and we should be in for a good one. Halbert catches a snap, looking straight across over the middle of the field, and it's picked off in the open. And who else is it? Going down the sideline, and nobody's going to catch him. Touchdown, Team Rise. Quentin Taylor all the way home. And it's Team Rise again.
What a catch.
Woo! And on the sideline, too, fired up, the New Lothrop assistants, John Logg, Brad Barnett, Mike Sullivan, and Juan Massey. Nothing better than seeing your hometown player get that pick and dart it back all the way to the end zone for 6 more for Team Rise.
Flipped into the end zone.
Yes, he did. Unfortunately, no style points there are awarded, but I'll give him some of my own if
some props.
Yep, if that counts for anything. 6:33 is the time that's left on your clock here in the first quarter, and just when it looked like Team Grind was starting to find the swing of things, Halbert's pass just right on over the middle, and it looked like he had a man, but Taylor in the right position at the right time. Kick up and good. 14-0 with 6:33 remaining in the 1st quarter. Well, this is not really what we expected. I mean, defense, you know, coming up with a big touchdown right there, but I mean, not really quite what we expected. We thought that Team Grind was going to, you know, come up and show out, but so far it's been all Team Rise.
Hopefully he didn't jinx him.
That's correct.
He thought it was going to be a big defense on Rise, but offense showing up.
That's right.
Well, actually, that was defense that just ran that in.
That's right. Teams are getting themselves set on up here for the kickoff. Of course, it's Birch setting the ball to kick off at the 40-yard line. Whoops. Getting a man laid on out onto the field. Dalton Adams. Fashionably late. Ball falls down again, looking to set themselves up. Wind a factor here as you look at some of the trees. So Birch, a line drive as it bounces and finds the hands all the way back at about the 10-yard line, but it's going to be where it bounces, so not the best kick there. But Team Grind will take it. You know, they haven't really dealt with the best fielding position so far, both times at the 20-yard line.
Yep.
First drive, they got a first down, but eventually sent the punting unit out. Gave the ball to Team Rise, where they eventually scored, punched it into the end zone. And then on the second drive, they broke midfield, and that was when Quentin Taylor took that one all the way to the house. Now in a bit of an I formation. Cooper jogging on out to the field, a little bit late to the party there, but nonetheless, he's set and ready to go. Halbert with the give, straight on up the middle, and a big rack up. That's big right there, number 55, Eric Lewis from Mount Morrison. Caitlin, he will be wearing a Davison Cardinal uniform next year.
Yep.
He's coming to Davison High School, and Coach Zimmerman has to be very happy with that, what he saw right there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's a big boy.
Definitely showing it off for Zim what he's going to be doing next year.
That's right.
And every Cardinal that's in the
Yeah.
stadium.
Halbert drops back to pass, seeing nothing, scrambling out of the pocket, breaking across the 35, now finding the 40s. He's gaining some yards here. Now out of bounds, ushers himself into the Team Rise sideline, breaks past midfield as that was Tanner Thomas hustling over there and forcing him out of bounds. And so Halbert right there tucks it away and runs the ball past midfield and sets him up for a first down. 1st and 10 from about the 47-yard line. 5:51 as the clock stops, as Halbert found his way out of bounds. Now this is the second time Team Grind had found their way past midfield, but hopefully it doesn't go the way things went last time for them. Halbert sets, catches a shotgun snap, rolls on out, gives the handoff to Lewis. Lewis breaking on up the middle across the 45, still dragging a Packer Rise all the way down past the 40 to about the 39-yard line. And that's Jalen Lewis from Carmen Ainsworth.
Wow.
He definitely caused the storm of fits on this field for the Cardinals in the previous season.
Setting up here.
Or excuse me, Lance Ryson from Flint Northwestern. Man, these rosters, I'll tell you what, it's a little bit difficult to deal with these teams, but that was Lance Ryson on the play with that run, powerful run, and then he does owe the credit for that one. 2nd down and short coming on up. Halbert with the give straight on up the middle again, and not the same result, wrapped up and dropped. It looks like a loss of a few inches on that play. 3rd down and about 3 coming on up.
Got 3 familiar faces out on the 4, familiar faces. Remy Martin, Jordan Cooper, Kurt Schlack, and Tanner Thomas.
That's correct. Halbert with the snap, rolling on out deep to the near sideline, cutting up and all the way across the 35, now tackled at about the 32. So another carry there for Ryson. He sets himself up with a first down. But we do have a timeout taken on the field as the officials look to try and set themselves up. Not on either team, it was an official timeout. So now both teams will find their huddles and catch a break here. 4:31 left on the clock here in the first half. 14-0, all Team Rise. And Caitlin, this has been quite the game so far.
It really has.
This is what we've been expecting too, you
Yep.
know, a great game like this.
A big, fast-paced, push and shove kind of game.
In an all-star game too, that's what you expect too, as a fast-paced game like that, where, you know, both teams are going as fast as they can. We said it, you know, it's their last game,
Yep.
and some teams, you know, they play in their last game, they're not quite sure that it's going to be their last game until the final score is up on the scoreboard, and we're at
Yep.
triple zeros in the fourth quarter. But these guys know that it's their last game, but you know, they're having fun. It's a beautiful day, and every right to them.
It's gonna be good. Gotta get all that water in, so there's nothing out there, because it's a hot one.
That's right.
It's definitely very hot, and I can't even imagine with all those pads on.
Well, Coach Zimmerman really stressed to his players to stay hydrated.
Yep.
Throughout the week, you know, because the players knew that it was going to be a warm one, so he made sure that his team was well hydrated throughout the week to rest up and get ready for this one and make sure that their bodies weren't dehydrated at all.
Yeah.
But it is a hot one nonetheless, as we are set to resume play here at Cardinal Stadium. 4:31 in the first quarter remaining. Shimon Halbert catches the shotgun snap and is rubbed a little too closely there by Coop. Tries to lob the pass all the way to the far sideline, but it is incomplete. And it looks like it was a tough pass to make, but nonetheless, it'll be 2nd and 10 coming on up. Marcus Washington, the intended receiver for Team Grind.
Those
Flint
numbers are
Southwestern.
hard. Numbers are hard to read. Black on black wasn't a good
Yeah,
choice.
it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I will give it to them up close and in personal. I was really excited about how they looked, but
they looked
you
cool.
know, from up here in the broadcasting booth, it's a little bit of a challenge. Halbert with the give to Cooper. He takes it straight on up the gut in the middle of the field. Does pick up a good chunk of yards. Bringing up now 3rd down and about 6. So now as we're about to break the 4-minute mark here, Davison, Michigan in our game. This game moving by rather quick. Halbert with the give to Coop, straight on up the middle again. Couldn't find what they were looking for. 4th down now bringing up, and you're in a good position to go for 2 if you want to. It's going to be interesting to see what they do here. Definitely going to be questionable. I think they are going to go for it. Cooper able to pick up about 1 yard there. That's Davison's Tyler North breaking out to the near sideline in the slot position. Timeout taken on the field. Rise is going to call a timeout. They see the formation that Grind comes on out with, and they're going to call a timeout to try and set up their defense. And who knows, maybe Team Grind will set up another play, but yeah, that's smart on Clint Galvis from New Lothrop, Shane Klingman from Flint Southwestern to see the formation, call one of their 3 timeouts, and talk things over right there.
Yeah. In practice, I saw they were running through the plays. They had those that they had to learn over that week period, and they got them, but setting up to them was quite difficult, it seemed like,
Right.
for the guys.
You know, that's the thing too, is they catch the plays and they can remember them, but you know, setting up, trying to get the play formations down and stuff, it's tough.
Yep.
We touched on it. I know it's difficult to get an entire team. You know, coaches take the entire season to get their teams and their offenses and defenses set up and moving on all cylinders there. But nonetheless, I've been impressed so far with what we've seen. We've seen a good show of offense and definitely defense so far. But
Yeah, you bet.
Team Grind really needs to get on the scoreboard here, and they know that on this 4th down. They're going for it. In motion, Halbert with the keep, straight on up the middle. Can he get it? Depends on where they spot him, and they'll give it to him. Halbert with the tuck, straight on up the middle, and he sets Team Grind up with a 1st down.
And a lot of running.
That was a nice play right there.
It was.
Washington in motion, and Halbert rode that give, but it looks like he was going to give it to him along the far sideline, but instead he tucked it himself, had a nice hole straight on up the middle, and was able to pick up the 1st down. So at about the 21-yard line, 20-yard line flat, 1st and 10 for Team Grind. Halbert sets to take the snap, and he will. No give to Cooper. He'll keep it himself. A tough tackle from behind as he finds the ground.
A couple of them found the ground there.
Tyler Hoy from Clio with a big wrap-up. Takes down Halbert to the ground. Clock continues to run. 2:40 here in the 1st quarter. 2nd down and about 7-6 coming on up for Grind. give to Coop straight on along the near sideline, and he's wrapped up and dropped at about the 17-yard line. Second, 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining here. Clock continues to run. So a nice play there on second down. 3rd down and 8 coming up for Team Grind. Team Grind catching some substitutions. Of course, we're going to see a lot of that in this game. It's an all-star game. You know, this is not where you got your second and third string, fourth string guys on the sideline waiting for their chance. All these guys are going to be getting honest looks in this game, so it's going to be interesting to see who gets a shot today. Halbert with the fake, strolling right on out to the right side, fires it over top, trying to find Washington, but just high over his head. So the clock will stop with 1:41. Halbert just a little bit too strong over the top of his intended receiver again. So it's dire that he tries to dial in his arm and get that figured out, because they have had some open receivers in the open. And if they can get that pass down, Team Grind will have their drives moving a lot faster than this. Timeout taken on the field by Team Grind at 1:41. And we'll step aside and take a short break. Yo, don't lose it. Right, ever. Huh? 4? TV, bro.
Is anyone on the other end or what?
Kim Jarrett. Yeah.
He's just a resume builder.
So both teams back on the field here as we're set to continue playing. First quarter, 1:41 remaining. 4th down and 8 coming up for Team Grind. So a big play coming on up. Washington in motion. Halbert with the keep himself. He's going to roll along the right sideline, breaking the plane. Did he get the first down, though? The officials marked that he did break the 10-yard line, and they will give it to him. So another big keep by Shaman Halbert there, and he ensures another first down for Team Grind, but on this case, it's now 1st and goal.
They're really pushing with him, getting him right through, right up the middle.
Well,
And
you can see why, too.
Yeah.
He's catching those seams, and it's beautiful.
Set it up perfectly.
They did. That's a big shout out to Team Grind, their line over there, their front 5. And so now a quarterback change over there on the give, straight on up the middle. That's Ben Highchar from Fenton, Michigan. So now under a minute, clock continues to tick.
About 8 to go.
Clock continues to run. Teams set themselves back up on the 7-yard line. 2nd down and goal. Highchar will take the snap, rolling on along the near sideline, fires a pass straight on over, caught, touchdown. Team Grind is on the board with just a few seconds left on the clock here in the first quarter. A beautiful rollout in that situation.
Tyler North from Davison. And during the regular season last season, we saw a lot from Tyler as well. And his catches were just, last year, were just amazing. Some of his catches were just, he's not going to catch it. He caught it.
And that's big hats to Brendan McGrill, quarterback from Davison, Michigan, and a botched snap right there. Teams are thankful that they don't have a live line in that situation. Kick up and good. Team Grind on the board. It took them the first quarter, but nonetheless, they are finally now back within a touchdown as both teams now head back to the sidelines. And that was just, all in all, I mean, as Team Rise right there, it just looked like it was tough for them to try and stop that offensive drive. That was a well-developed offensive possession there by Team Grind.
Yeah. set it up.
Well, you saw a really fair balance of running. Shimon Halbert with the keeps.
Yep.
I mean, he had 2 of those that kept the drive alive. One big one that came all the way to the sideline that broke the 50.
Yeah.
So I would say that, he had a much-deserved break right there inside the goal line. The quarterback change. Put Highchar in there to nail that pass, and he connects with North for Team Grind's first touchdown of the day. 26 seconds remaining on the clock in the first quarter. Jake Mattis from Flushing kicking for Team Grind. And that's a streaker. No, that's Kyle Zimmerman running across the field. And, of course, with Dave Beamer, Kyle Zimmerman, big hats off to them as well as all the coaches in this for putting this together.
Yep.
And you look in the bleachers, I think it was a great success by them so far.
Definitely. And that was the intentions.
Right, exactly. Ball falls off the tee. So he's set to reset. Our officiating crew today: Tom Rao, Terry Scrivener, Jeff Torok, James Bailey, Tim Kullick, Marl Barton. All doing a good job so far in this game. That ball just, a little bit too high over his head. Caught at the 5-yard line, so they're going to go ahead and move that one right on up. So that ball should go to the 35-yard line. All balls that don't reach the end zone go to the 35. So that's a factor, honestly. I mean, when you take a look at Team Rise, all their kicks have gone into the end zone so far. Team Grind, their first kick right there, did not find the end zone. So Team Rise now with beautiful field position to set themselves up at the 35-yard line.
See the energy down there. Just on the sidelines for Grind, jumping in the air. Pumped out.
They're back in this one here with just a few seconds left in the first quarter. 26 seconds left on the clock. As Team Rise takes the field again. Zach Leadham back in the pocket for Team Rise. The pitch looked a little messy, but it was a good, clean corral there as he breaks the 40-yard line. Clock will continue to run. It looks like that just might do it here in the first quarter. Clock rolling now, 15 seconds in the first quarter. It didn't continue, as the play ended, but rolling now, and it looks like Team Rise gathering their team to the sideline. So that's going to do it here from the first quarter from Davison, Michigan. 14-7 our score as we head into our quarter break. Now, Caitlin, going back and looking at that first quarter, what did you see from that so far from both teams on offense and defense, do you think?
Well, like we said in the beginning, we were expecting plenty of defense. But I'll be honest, I didn't see as much as I thought I was expecting to see. I thought they weren't going to move. I thought they were just going to be push, push, push.
Right.
But then we saw it turn around the opposite way that we thought. Rise really rose.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, in that situation, you had, I would say that the defense was, they did their jobs. I think on, Team Rise, you look at it, they forced Team Grind to put together a really tough offensive possession. They went all the way down and scored, but nonetheless, they forced them to punt, and they got that interception that they took all the way to the house that got their second touchdown of the day. So I would say Team Rise really showing up on defense so far. So much on offense. I mean, they had one big play that really set them up for a touchdown, but besides that, they haven't really had a whole lot of opportunities to be on the field for offense. So they look to start that right here, 2nd down and 6 as we push on into the second quarter. Back in the shotgun snap, the give. Straight on along the far sideline, that's Simeon Kemp from Hamady. He's wrapped up and tackled, but he got the first down. So the chains will reset themselves as the clock pauses to let the chains set themselves up.
running back out.
Zach Leadham in the backfield for quarterback for Team Rise. And split out wide is Simeon Kemp. Catching the snap, that's Leadham straight on up the middle. Trying to fight to the 50-yard line, and it looks like they're going to mark him just shy. It's third down and about 7 coming up. Brandon Sixeye from Lakeville with the tackle right there for Team Grind.
Some big defenders down there.
Yeah, there really are. I mean, you look at it, this is an all-star game, so as a team,
Yep.
you know, you're going to line up against some all-stars. So that's what they knew coming into this one, and that's what the fans came for. Zach Leadham in the backfield again. Dual set on the back, on the left and right. Pass intended over there for Brett Perro. Officials are going to blow it dead. That was behind the line of scrimmage, so I think in a normal MHSAA game, that is definitely a live football. And risky situation right there. Perro not quite sure of where he was at on the line due to the line of scrimmage. So 3rd and deep, they're going to mark the ball at the fumble location. So it's going to go all the way back to the 40-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd and very long as the clock will continue to run. 14-7, Team Rise on top of Team Grind here in the second quarter. 10:35 and counting. From Cardinal Stadium, trips formation for Team Rise on the far side of the field. Snap rolling on out to the far side. Double pass, maybe no. Maybe no. Wrapped up and dropped was Rodney Webster. It looked like he had his intended receiver streaking on down the field. Good coverage right there by Team Grind in the secondary to be over that one, but yeah, that was just a tough situation. Leadham looked over for Webster, couldn't get anything going. And that was Simeon Kemp with the wheels trying to get down the far sideline, but good coverage there. Brings up 4th and 16. Eric Hildebrand back to receive for Team Grind. Hildebrand from Goodrich High School. 9:40 and counting here in the second quarter. 4th down and very long. 16 coming up for Team Rise. Punt, a high punt, breaks the 50-40. Looks like at the 33, no, muffed and dropped. And it's going to be marked right where it lands at the 30-yard line. So Team Grind will set up shop at the 30, 9:22 left on the clock here in the second quarter. Now, Caitlin, we saw earlier in the game, Team Grind struggled a little bit with their passes. They tried the runs up the middle. It really didn't look like it was working a whole lot. Their passing game wasn't there. But we did see that really well drive that they put together. Just now it got them a touchdown. It took them the length of the field almost, and they finally got on the board for the first time today. What do you think we're going to see from Grind here on offense?
I think we're going to see the same thing that we've been seeing. We're going to see those pass, through so they can get through on runs. So he still hasn't got down the arm for the passes. So, yeah, I believe we're going to see a lot more running and as he attempts to get those passes in.
So Highchar off the snap, rolling on out to the 37-yard line. So it looks like Team Grind now going with the pass. Highchar knocked out of, the pass. Receiver was Marcus Washington, knocked out of bounds at about the 37 market for the officials. And a big chunk taken out right there on first down. So 2nd and about 4 coming up for Team Grind. Highchar in the backfield. Takes the shotgun snap a little low, fakes the pitch, and now a give straight on up the middle. An interesting play. And it looks like they're going to mark it at about the 40-yard line.
It was almost like he wasn't ready for it. Wasn't ready for the handoff. Like he was running the opposite way, and he just went right back in for it.
Well, I think what they did right there was Highchar was able to take the snap, and it looked like he was going to roll on out for a pitch, but they ended up diving straight on up the middle, getting a fair chunk out of that one. So a first down for Team Grind, 9-10 as the clock is stopped for the Chains to reset themselves. There's a little bit of miscommunication by the far side, but they're set and ready to go. Highchar in the backfield. Whoops, a little bit of some movement, but none called by the officials. Catch made by Tamaris Kent. Trying to get to about the 50-yard line. It looks like they're going to mark him at about the 49. So second and very short coming up for Team Grind. Nice play right there. He able to corral that one up by Kent from Flint Northwestern. Bailey Davis on the catch there from Linden. Also the kicker, excuse me. Highchar with the snap. That's a pull, but nothing going there on second down and short. Now loss on the play. Well, it looks like they might mark him right where the line of scrimmage was, if not a few inches back. So third down and about the same amount coming on up for Team Grind, about 2.5, 2 yards, I'd mark it. 7:50 and counting here in the second quarter. Highchar takes the shotgun snap, rolls her out to the far sideline before finally cutting up the middle and lowers his shoulder. Tough hit right into Jalen Lewis from Carmen Ainsworth. He was able to get the takedown, however, but a tough hit by Highchar coming on in, and he says, no slide there. I'm going to lower the shoulder and get my yards, and that he does. Setting up Team Grind for a 1st and 10. About the 43-yard line. Highchar with the give, straight on up the middle, wrapped up and dropped. Flag flies on the play. Eric Davis with the wrap up and tackle. Lance Ryson for Team Grind. In the backfield on this one, face mask on Team Rise, so that's going to give Team Grind 15 yards and a first down. That situation, about the 27-yard line market. 7:20 clock stops as they look to set themselves up. Shade starting to creep over Cardinal Stadium now on the right side of the field. A little bit more of the majority as to the left side. You still got some sun over there, but nonetheless, a beautiful day here in Davison, Michigan. Clouds really starting to clear up. Not a cloud in the sky except for on the horizon. Highchar in the shotgun. Rides for a while, finally gives to Ryson, but an unfortunate move. That's going to move Team Grind way back after the penalty. So after a gain of 15 yards, it's going to move them back several more. It looks like it's going to be about 2nd and 17, they mark it. So a lot of work to do here for Team Grind. Highchar in the backfield. Ryson to his right. Highchar dropping back, looking, sees nothing, tucks it himself, takes on 2 members from Team Rise. Ooh, and Lewis in there mixing it up a little bit. Team Grind doesn't like that too much as Lewis gets pushed off of that aftermath. Highchar able to pick up a few yards, now make it 3rd and about 11 coming on up for Grind. Highchar in the shotgun, Ryson to his right. 2 receivers out on the left and right. Lobs it up to the far sideline, up in the air. And dropped down. Ball broken up. That's a big time play out there in the secondary.
Some great coverage by Chris King for Rise from Brandon.
So a timeout taken on the field. So that's going to stop them. 4th down and 11 coming on up. Taking us back through that play, Highchar with a beautiful opportunity over on the far sideline. It looked like they might have had something in the works there. Intended receiver, I believe, Eric Hildebrand from Goodrich. Lobbed it up on into the corner, but unable to come down with it. 5:40 left here in the first half. Both teams taking a timeout, catching a quick water break. So what do you think? Do you think they go for it here? 4th down and long on the 27, however. So if they turn it over, not too bad of a field position.
Yeah, I think they're gonna try and push through this.
You think they're going to go for it?
Yep.
What do you think they draw up here? You think they try and go? I think, I mean, Highchar's been good with his arms so
Yep.
far, what we've seen
Yep.
from him. I think they might go for the pass.
Exactly what I was thinking.
So you've got Tyler North, who's got a touchdown for Davison so far on the near sideline. And it looks like they've got a trips formation. Highchar takes the snap, looking along the right side on the near sideline, tucks it himself, lobs it into the end zone, up in the air, almost picked off, and bounces into the end zone. Looked like a for sure interception, but it falls to the ground unharmed, in no hands. And so now it looks like a turnover on downs. Team Rise will take over on the 27-yard line. So what we expected there, they go in the air, but it looked like Highchar was just kind of flushed out of the pocket, didn't have much to work with there.
Well, when they went for the interception there, he still kept going. He jumped over those two as they hit the ground. Fortunately, no catch, but
Team Rise taking over at the 27-yard line, 5:33 left in the first half. In the backfield to give straight on up the middle. Strong carry there by Austin Pruitt from Bendel High School. 2nd down and about 6 coming on up for Team Rise. So a good play call there by Brandon Chapman and Jerry Parker for Team Grind.
Jerry Parker seemed extraordinarily excited for this.
He did. And I think all coaches were rightfully so, too.
Yep.
You know, a lot to look forward to in this game. So far, first half, you know, no blowouts, which no one wants in an all-star game. So this one's definitely going to be exciting. Shotgun pass over to the far sideline. That's Shimon Halbert. Or, excuse me, Simeon Kemp. The opposite number 1 on Team Rise. Able to catch that, looking for something to do with it, but not much in that situation. Zach Leadham with the pass. Just a little bubble screen over to the far sideline, or a pepper screen rather. Leadham with the play call from the sideline, now jogging back to the huddle. 3rd down and 7 coming up for Team Rise. And if Team Grind could come up with a stop, it'd be a big defensive stand right before halftime.
Definitely a way to lead it off.
Leadham in the backfield, ready for the shotgun snap. Right as the 4-minute mark breaks, Leadham, confusion, broken play, rolls out to the far sideline, trying to get the 1st down. And it looks like he was wrapped up just short. 4th down, the officials are going to mark it on the field as he gets out of bounds as the clock is stopped at 3:54. 4th down and 2 coming up for Team Rise.
Just shy of that.
Just shy. It looked like he might have got it, but chaos ensued in the backfield, a broken play. And now Team Rise is going to take one of their timeouts here. 1 remaining for both teams in the first half. And they're going to take a moment to talk this one over. Well, 4th down, 4th and short. What do you think they do here in this situation?
They're going to go for it. Well, obviously they're going to go
Right,
for it,
I
but
think so, but
they're going to,
you think they're going to go to the ground and they might try to go through the air?
you know, that's kind of hard to say because they've been going evenly pretty much back and forth with Rise. With Grind, we could easily tell that they're going to go through, for a pass, but, you know, I might have to say they might run it.
Team Rise so far, you know, of course, like you've been saying, they have had a fair balance of passes and running game. Now, Team Grind in the situation, you would be led to believe that they're inferring some type of run play, whether it be up the middle or on the outside, but I think a pass would definitely catch them off guard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some rules in this game, there is no blitzing. You cannot have any type of blitzes. Coach Zimmerman and his coaching staff from both teams collectively making these rules, making sure that there's no injuries in this game today, because that's the last thing people want in an all-star game is injuries like this. So the formation trips to the near side, one lone receiver to the far side. And some movement, flags fly on the play. The officials are going to call offsides on the defense. And that is enough for Team Rise to get a first down. A movement on the defensive line and no play at all.
So we were wrong.
Right? All that for that. I think they're going to just keep the same play. They're going to run just what they drew up. Trips formation to the near sideline. Lehman catching the snap, the give straight on up the middle, wrapped up and dropped. Ryan Young from Linden, the running back, with the carry. Second down and none. No yards gain right there. 3:35, man, first half, just like that, come and gone, and we're already almost one half done with this first inaugural Flint All-Star game. Couldn't have asked for a better day. Beautiful weather. Wind enough to keep the crowd cool. A nice slight breeze as we're catching as well through the press box. Very enjoyable as well.
Yeah, it definitely feels good.
Lehman with the snap, the give, straight on up the middle. He's going to keep it himself, rather, along the right-hand side. Breaking the 45-yard line. Gets the first down, and has fooled everyone, including the defense and myself. It's going to be marked at about right at the 45-yard line. 3:01 clock stops for the Chains to get themselves set up. Beautiful play design right there. Lehman with the keep. Beautiful fake. Looked like a surefire give, but he pulls it out at the last minute and is able to take that one to the far sideline right in front of the team grind members over there on the bench. Brandon Carr made his way on over. He was earlier on Team Rise. Now he's over at the team grind sideline. Of course, it's always awesome to see him come and give back to the community.
Yep.
He said, not able to come to all the games, but definitely, I'm sure, happy to be here today. Lehman with the pitch along the close sideline, wrapped up in a big tackle right there. Alex Stribling from Hamady High School with the carry, so to speak. Wrapped up and dropped in the backfield. 2nd and 15 coming up, and this is going to be a big play. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw Team Rise try to go through the air in this one. 2:35 and counting.
I think you might be right on that, going through the air for this one.
We'll definitely see what they go with here. So team set up and ready to go here. Lehman sends Kemp in motion right here. He's going to look for a give straight on up over the middle. The big catch at the 25-yard line. It looked like he was in the open. Brett Perro able to come up with a big grab and give Team Rise a first down as he stands up and gives the first down signal. He's very excited, and a big catch right there for Brett Perro to set up Team Rise with a fresh set of downs.
It almost looked like he was going to shake out of that, kick his way out and keep going.
He almost did, and that would have been 6 more right before halftime. Of course, they scored twice earlier in the first quarter, and then Team Grind right at the end. We've had no scoring so far in the second quarter. Team Rise looking to change that. Lehman with the fake, rolling around the far sideline, trying to break the line of scrimmage. He will, but doesn't get much more after that. Second down coming up as we are now at the 1:30 mark left in the first half. Second down and say about 9 coming on up. Lehman off to the sideline to get the play call. 1:15 clock continues to run. Not in too much of a hurry as they're in great field position. Set up on the 18-yard line. Looks like a first down. Could give them a touchdown, but 2 would be specific. a minute to play here. As it is Lehman still in the backfield. Trips formation on the near sideline. Landon Mitchell on the far receiver. And a give straight on up the middle. Wrapped up and dropped at the initial line of scrimmage. And back behind that, 3rd down and about 11 coming on up.
Those big guys down there and just pushing and shoving back and forth.
I'm not too sure they know that they have 16 seconds left on the clock. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have thought that they would have gotten a timeout, and they waste all that time and now finally take a timeout. 12 seconds left. And it looks like at the initial tackle, they probably could have had about roughly 30 seconds left on the clock, but Lehman was over. He had already gotten the play call and was jogging back to the huddle when they called the timeout, but 12 seconds left. It looks like they might get 2 plays if they're lucky, 1 for sure. 12 seconds left, and they're this far out at the 21-yard line. I would think that they would go over in the air. Someone we haven't seen so far today, Landon Mitchell, one of the bigger receivers for Team Rise.
Yep.
Landon Mitchell from Goodrich High School. Of course, cousin Mitchell Rubio went to Goodrich as well, former high school stud in his days. You look around too, you see a lot of current high school football players as well, former too. Davison,
Yep.
a lot of former
Yep.
athletes here. You see Max McCombs walking up the home bleachers. Logan Richards joining me in the press box as well. All former Davison Cardinals. So all around great to see. Chris Steele, 1987. Joe Jared, class of 1979. All great to see former Cards and alum alike come back. Lehman, the snap, goes to the far sideline, lobs it right on up into the air, and what looked like might have been a touchdown, but then quickly into an interception, but then just like that falls to the ground incomplete. 7 seconds left. Team Rise looking like they're going to get one more chance unless they can get a first down and a quick out of bounds. I believe Team Rise has no timeouts left. It says 1, but I believe it's been like that. I think they burned their final timeout with the previous one they just took. And so field goal team out. Team Rise says we're going to take the points when the opportunity presents itself. 7 seconds left.
Like you said, we had that breeze, so let's see if that pushes into this.
Tyler Birch, the kicker. Snap, hold, kick up, and well, good.
No effect.
Right. So 14-10, gonna be our score there. Tyler Birch, the kicker for Team Rise. Of course, he handles the kickoffs as well as the extra points, and in that situation, the field goal unit. 3 seconds left on the clock, and depending on what happens here, Team Grind just might have an opportunity. So both teams now to the sideline, and officials wave for that to be half, and that's gonna do it. Here from Cardinal Stadium, 17-7 our score as we head to the locker room. Both teams looking to make the needed adjustments. Team Rise on top of Team Grind through 2 quarters of play. 17-7. Caitlin so far through two quarters, 1 half. What did you see from both of these teams, and maybe something that you could see Team Grind right now trailing by 10 going into the halftime break that they could change to come into the second half?
Personally, I don't think it was aggressiveness. I think it was just competitiveness going on down there. I definitely saw both of the teams showing up. Not as much as Rise, but they definitely both showed up there for offense.
Team Rise came straight on out. Of course, had those 2 scores earlier in the first quarter. One was offensive, one defensive, a pick 6, and then no points scored in the second quarter except for the field goal that concluded the first half. And so both teams head into the locker rooms and take a break, as do we. From Cardinal Stadium in Davison, Michigan, 15 minutes set up on the clock. And we will step aside for halftime. Don't go away. We've got the final half of this first annual Flint Area High School football game coming up after the break.
quick announcement. The Davison Police Department would like to remind you that if you park in the grass lawn on the west side of the high school parking lot, you may have blocked in another vehicle. That's on the west side of the high school parking lot. You are blocking in other vehicles. If your vehicle is parked west of the high school in a grass area and is blocking in another vehicle, it may be ticketed and or towed. Please take the time now to check on your vehicle. If you leave the stadium, our athletic director, Mr. David Weaver, has told me that you will be allowed back in the stadium if you need to leave to move your vehicle. Once again, the Davison Police Department would like to remind our guests here this evening that if you blocked in another vehicle and have parked on the west side of the parking lot, you may be ticketed or towed away. Please take the time now to go check your vehicle. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a quick reminder, again, the Davidson Police would like to remind you that if you park on the west side of the parking lot near the high school, the west side of the parking lot on the grass, you might be blocking someone in. If your vehicle is parked on the west of the high school parking lot and is blocking another vehicle, it may be ticketed and or towed. Please take the time now before we start our second half. Check on your vehicle. Athletic Director Mr. David Beamer has said you will be readmitted to the stadium if you need to check on your vehicle. Still some time left to do that, so we ask that you please make sure that you are not blocking someone in if you are parked on the grass on the west side of the high school. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Cardinal Stadium for the first annual Flint All-Star Football Game as we will begin the second half here this evening.
As we are back here at Cardinal Stadium, Davison, Michigan, ready to get this second half kicked off and underway. Right where we left off, 17-7 when we went into the halftime break. Both of these teams back out now onto the field. And Caitlin, looking back through our game so far, we had a really interesting game. It started off, all the scoring looked like it was going on in the first quarter. It looked like it was going to be a very fast-paced game, high scoring. Second quarter really slowed down. Both teams really feeling each other out in the first quarter, now starting to take punch for punch in the second quarter there. Only a field goal to show for that second quarter, but a lot of offense and defense back and forth, 17-7. What's to look for here in the second half?
I think we're going to be expecting the opposite, actually. I have an outlook on this, that we're going to be expecting the opposite, that Grind's going to pick up the grind.
Okay.
They're going to pick
well
it up.
Put. There you go. Grind is going to start grinding.
I definitely think they're going to be a second half kind of team.
Yeah.
And they're going to come back. They're going to redeem themselves from the first half.
Well, we sure hope so. Fans hope so, and they do as well. Try and make this a game. Doesn't take much, as they are going to start off on defense here. So a stop would be a step in the right direction. Team Rise will take over on the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 No time rolling off the clock on the kickoff there, of course. If it finds the end zone, then no time. It will just be marked at the 20-yard line. In the shotgun formation, pump fake, looking over the middle of the field to the near sideline, caught by Rodney Webster, out of bounds, and a loud play for Team Rise out of the halftime break. So a step in the right direction for Team Rise, getting the half moving in the right direction.
Not too early to say I was wrong.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, it's a game of back and forth.
Yep.
So it was a beautiful ball by Leadham to find
Yep.
Webster over there on the near sideline, but, you know, Team Grind has to regather themselves and try and get another stop here. It was a big play, but nonetheless still, you know, a lot of room behind them until the end zone. Leadham to take the snap. A little bit of a loose snap. Looking, dips and dives from the middle to the outside. Now catching a big block on the outside, and a long flag coming all the way back from the back judge. And he's going to fix the position of where it was intended to be. And
Big shoulder.
you know, I think it's going to be a block in the back, which is what it's going to be called. All the nearby officials thought that it was clean, but in that situation, not the case from our back. Our back judge, 11:46 the time, is going to move Team Rise all the way back. Simeon Kemp, the one coming on in there, catching or laying the block. And Coach Zimmerman talked that he didn't want any type of, you know, injuries like that or
Yep.
anything that could lead to such, but looked like it might have been a clean block, but officials did not think so. So second and very long coming up now for
Yep.
Team Rise as 11:35 continues to tick off of our clock. 17-7 still the score. That would have been a really big play.
It would have. If he could have shooken that off and got right through there, maybe even seen a bit of a touch or a end zone.
Right. Rise breaks the huddle. Lead him in the shotgun. So they've got two split off to the near sideline. Landon Mitchell, the tight end, on the far sideline, and one receiver sent in motion now. It's Simeon Kemp. Loose snap goes back down to the 35-yard line. Officials intended to mark it right where the ball is dropped. But that's Darrell Torbert, who talked about before
guy.
the game. A big impact right there, coming on in and wrapping up.
Going on to Hope College.
Oh, that's big
Football.
for him. That's nice. Hope College.
Seemed pretty excited about that one.
So second down and way long coming up after Leadham couldn't quite corral the snap. It looked like it might have been a direct snap in play, or if it was supposed to go to Simeon in motion, or if it was supposed to go to Leadham. Nonetheless, loose ball in the backfield leads to second down, and now 31 is what is marked on the scoreboard. Trips formation to the near sideline. One split receiver on out to the far. It's Brett Perro. And a double pass. Webster looking all the way downfield, up into the air, and a clean breakup in the secondary. Ball intended for Simeon Kemp. But lobbed on up into the air on a big breakup right there in the secondary by Cahill Brownlee. 9:55 clock stops. Third down and 31 to go. That looked like it might have been a completion, but he just saved his team a lot of yards now on third down and very long coming up.
Yep. He's going to need a lot to pull out of that one.
Both teams meet back up at the line of scrimmage. Ball marked at about the 33-yard line is what the scoreboard reads. 9:55 remaining in the third quarter. Just over 2 minutes played so far. Looking like a broken play in the backfield. Leadham going further back, looking to heave it all the way down the sideline to nowhere.
Not sure really what he was going for there.
Looked like he was just trying to get rid of it in that situation. He was out of the pocket, tried to send it to no one just to make sure that there was no interception in that case. And they're going to send what you would think would be the punt team out now, because they will do just that. So team grind, like we talked about, after giving up a big play to start out the second half, come up with a big stop and look to take over wherever they may here as the punt team's now out. Back and the punt is off and away. A booming punt caught at about the 35-yard line. That's where it will be stopped. Quentin Taylor on the punt. Of course, the young man had a touchdown from New Lothrop back in the first quarter. 9:41, no time, ticks off the clock. Team Grind, this is their chance right now to inch their way back closer into this game.
You bet it is, and that's exactly what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to get those little parts and then go all in.
That's what they did too in the first quarter with their first score and their only score so far in this game. Looked like a slow drive, but it was very meticulous and very well thought out. Eventually got them 7 points up on the board, so you would think that again they're going to have another fair mix of passing and running game here as Ben Highchar finds his way back out onto the field. Davidson's Jordan Cooper split off to his left, joining him in the backfield. Shotgun snap. The give, a tough give right there to Derek Ross. And the pull, Highchar pulls it and tries to fight his way on up the middle. So a little bit of what you would think is a miscommunication right there in that situation. Derek Ross coming in the motion, going for the handoff, and he clamps down on that ball. Ben Highchar tries to pull it, and Ross is so pulled down on that one that it looked like it was a little bit of a miscommunication. That's what the tug that you saw right there is. Highchar tried to pull that one out. Nonetheless, second down coming on up. Short pass, split on out to the far sideline. Breaking tackles, finally getting a first down for Team Grind all the way in the far sideline. So the clock will stop as the chains will get themselves set back up. It's Jelani Taylor from Bucktown Beecher High School in Flint, Michigan, able to catch the pass, but after that, get those much-needed yaks the yard after the catch, fight his way for another first down. Highchar in the backfield, he's going to keep it himself off the fake give. Gets little to nothing on that play, about 2 yards. Second down and 8. Coming on up, and a little bit of a scruff there after the whistle. Some extracurriculars going on. The officials look like they're going to mark that on. Looks like they're giving a fair amount of talking to Team Rise over there, their front.
Seems like in the first half, that's where we saw it come from, too.
Yes, it was, and that's, I believe it's Jalen Lewis who's the one who's getting the talking to, or at least he's the one in there talking to the officials to see what went on in that situation. And so flags did fly, so they called unsportsmanlike conduct on Team Rise, and that's going to continue to move the chains for Team Grind. And they will take the yards any way that they can, down 10 points in this game. So that's going to move them all the way now up to way up to the 24-yard line. That's a big deal for Team Grind. That's a big break right there. It gets you some good field position.
Probably what they thought they needed.
That's right. Highchar with Cooper to his right. Takes the snap, drops back, looks to go for the end zone. He's got a man all the way up and broken up. A big play that could have been 6, but a big play out there in the secondary. That's man on man and a good breakup to prevent a touchdown for Team Grind.
Intended for Cahill Brown-Lee from Grind. Carmen Ainsworth.
That's Dylan Zukent from Bentley High School, able to get on in there and break that one up. 8:45, second and 10 coming on up. That's a big bust up in that situation to prevent a touchdown. Highchar rolls out, just fires high over the head of Ross. Only a few seconds roll on off. So incomplete pass, clock does not run. Third down and 10 coming on up for Team Grind, and they find themselves in another opportunity where they need to convert to continue to keep their drive alive.
Getting back out there for that. Kind of a longer meeting with the coach there.
Yeah, it is. You know, Jerry Parker making sure that they get the right play call here. It's a big third down, Team Grind. Highchar set to take the snap. Cooper to his left. He stops and fires it along to the far sideline. Breaking across the 20, trying to fight all the way until the 15. Eric Hildebrand with the reception for Team Grind. And it looks like he did just that. It's enough yards to set up Team Grind for a first down. So on 3rd and 10, Team Grind goes into the year, but not a deep pass. Caught right on the line of scrimmage, and Hildebrand able to get the yards after the catch. So Team Grind set back up now. First down marker just knocking on the goal line. Highchar will give it to Eric Hildebrand now as he's trying to spin off some tackles and finally finds the ground at about the 16-yard line, 17-yard line, so he's going to lose some yards on that play. Hildebrand's got some speed in the open, but Team Rise looked like they were all over it in that situation now as we approach the 8-minute mark, left in the 3rd quarter.
17 marker. Brings up 2nd down.
Highchar ready for the snap. He's got 2 receivers to his far sideline, 2 to his near. Drops back, looking straight on over the middle, caught, and that's at the 5. It's Hildebrand again, just at about the 6-yard line. 7:42, clock continues to run. 3rd down now and just short. And so Team Grind finds themselves in yet another 3rd down situation where a conversion keeps them alive. Of course, if they don't get it and they do select to kick a field goal, that would bring them back within 7 points from 10, but I would think that if they're in this situation, nothing to lose in an all-star game, you'd go for 6.
Right.
Highchar keeps it himself, trying to find the goal line, and a big wrap up and stop there by Team Rise to prevent a touchdown. So that's going to bring up 4th down. The officials mark them just shy of about 1.5 yards, I would mark it. As we just break the 7-minute ceiling. 6:55 and counting. 4th and 1 coming up for Team Grind. Now we have seen nothing but shotgun formation so far today. 4th and 1. You think maybe they'd go over center, but Highchar staying directly behind the center. The give to Cooper straight on up the middle. Was it enough? Officials are going to come on out and mark it. And the clock will stop as the pile finds their way off Jordan Cooper. Going to see if they got it or not. And they're going to stop the clock here to see if, bring out the chains and make super certain that they got this one. This is big for Team Grind. You know, all possessions, you got to take them very seriously. So they pull the chain, and it looks like it was just enough. First down, Jordan Cooper from Davison able to get the ball and pile his way straight on up the middle. A good stand-up, I would say, though, by Team Rise. They did about as much as they could to try and limit that, but 1st and goal for Team Grind. So on the whistle, the clock will run. Same formation as the 4th down. Highchar, the give to Cooper, and a rush from the outside by Jalen Lewis coming on in. And a big tackle by Lewis to come on in and break up the party. Loss of 2 on the play for Team Grind. That was a big defensive possession right there.
It was.
Big stand.
He didn't want to go down. He got him down.
That's right. Cooper kept firing his legs, but Lewis ripped him right down, and loss of about 3 yards. 2nd down and 6. So Team Grind changing up their formation a little bit. They started on the 3-yard line, now find their way back to the 7. 2nd down, Highchar takes a snap, rolls out to the right-hand side. He's going to tuck it himself, lowers the shoulder, breaks the plane, and touchdown for Team Grind. Highchar tucks it himself and breaks the plane and moves his Team Grind right back within now 1 possession against Team Rise. 5:32 remaining on the clock in the 3rd quarter. Man, what a run right there by Highchar, and what an offensive possession by Grind to get those points.
Definitely a big push that he had there.
So it looks like the extra point team coming onto the field now. You would think. No, I love it. They're going for 2. No, they're not. Okay. I saw Highchar set himself up back behind the center, squared up, and then he turns his shoulder and dips down. So the snap on the hold, kick, routine, a little low, but up and good. So now we're back to a field goal possession of a game, 5:32, 17-14 our score, and we said we were in for a good one, and we're in for a good one.
We are. Only those 3 points behind, anything could happen there.
Yeah, that's right, especially, I mean, you're not even done with the fourth quarter at that point. So looking, you have almost 20 minutes of play left on up on the clock. So these players come from teams, they've been in these situations before where they come into a dogfight, and it's been nothing less so far. 17-14 left on the score on the clock. 5:32 left in the third quarter. The Team Grind now finds their way on out to kick it off, and now Team Rise will have the ball back. Of course, they had the first possession to start the second half. Didn't really quite go the way that they had wanted to. They opened up with a really big play, and you thought that was going to be enough momentum to maybe propel them to a touchdown. But wasn't the case. Both teams set for the kick here. This one will not reach the end zone. Caught at the 10-yard line. It looks like right around the 10-yard line. And so it did not reach the end zone, so that's going to take them on out to the 35-yard line. It should. 5:32 left on the clock. 1st and 10 for Team Rise. And they get their second chance in the second half to try and set something up to get themselves on the board here in the third quarter.
I think we saw that even distribute of pass and run, sorry. And I think we're going to end up seeing a little more pass this time.
You think
It
so?
started off, it seems a little bit more run, but I think they're going to start picking up the passing.
I mean, the pass worked for them. They opened up with a big play.
Yeah. They're not really, the defense isn't really coming through right now.
Lehman in the shotgun to give straight on up the middle. Trying to hustle off the tackle and get to the 40-yard line. And some more after the whistle going on, and team's starting to get a little bit more too accustomed to it as Ryan Young catching the handoff and getting the yards right there for Team Rise. And then after the whistle, a little bit of some love and bump and grind after that. 2nd down and about 6 coming on up for Team Rise. As it's Lehman again as they break the huddle, and he is what we have seen so far here in the game so far. Handoff again, straight on up the middle to Ryan Young. Wrapped up and dropped just past the line of scrimmage. As I was mistaken, quarterback now in the game. Running to the sideline, catching the calls from the head coach Garrett Aginski from Flushing, the quarterback. Now in, we saw throughout most of the first half it was fairly one-sided with Leadham. And now we see Aginski, 2 very good quarterbacks coming from very good schools in Flushing and Grand Blanc. So a dual threat in that situation with your quarterbacks. 3rd down and short coming up for Team Rise. Trip set to the far sideline. Landon Mitchell to the near. Aginski turns and fires to Kemp. Kemp trying to run and break feet to the far sideline. And a big tackle over there to prevent the 1st down and keep it at 4th down.
Oginski was the first team all-league quarterback, so it's definitely showing that he's one of those all-stars out there right now, making those clean passes.
Yep. Aaron Hutton from Lapeer able to get in there and get the big stop. Little to no yards on that play for Team Rise. Oginski gonna jog back to the huddle. They're going for it on 4th and 2. This is a big play here at the 43-yard line. Only a couple yards to get. It looked like that last one was going to be enough with the speed from Simeon Kemp off the pass, but nonetheless. Secondary, a grind, pressing on up into man. There's the give, straight on up the middle. Breaking the 45 and getting the first down for Team Rise. Again, it's Ryan Young with the carry. He's been the general horse to carry the workload for Team Rise so far.
He's really coming through to show his power on how he's really quick, actually, as well.
He is, and when he catches the contact, he keeps his feet moving too,
Yep.
which makes it so hard to tackle as a,
Yep.
especially as fairly medium height build he's got there, and
Yep.
a tough tackle for Team Grind gives his team a first down at the 46-yard line. Oginski takes a snap, drops back and mimics a drop back and tucks it himself for about 2 yards, but not much going on there for Oginski with the carries. He gets himself about a yard. 2nd down and 9 coming up for Team Rise.
Looks to be player number 25 from the grind, Adam Cooley from Olive on the tackle.
1:30, clock continues to run here in the 3rd quarter. Getting closer and closer to that much anticipated 4th quarter as we got ourselves a good game in the midst. Oginski again with 2 split to the near sideline, 1 to the far. Oginski takes a high snap, tucks it himself after the fake give, rolling out to the far sideline, dodging a few defenders, and is wrapped up and tackled out of bounds, and a flag flies. As I can only think it would be a little bit of a late hit as Oginski was finding his way out of bounds and was wrapped up and dropped. Let's see what the officials say in this situation. And so this would be a tough break for Team Grind if this was a late hit, and it looks like it will be. That's unfortunately, that's 15 yards is the case. So really looking for a stop right now, not what you need for Team Grind.
On the 3rd down, that's a first down, Team Rise.
Minute 7 as the clock is stopped. Teams look to set themselves back on up. Shotgun snap into the backfield. The pitch along the near side to Young. Young hurtling over, and another flag flies. Not sure what they're going to call here. Flag was marked at the 38-yard line. The officials meet up to settle on the call here. That's going to be holding on Team Rise, so that's going to move them back that much more after they take the late hit penalty. They get penalized themselves, and man, right on first down after a penalty, that's a tough break, but a good break for Team Grind getting back into this game.
Yep.
So now under a minute to go here in the 3rd quarter. Lights are now on in Cardinal Stadium as dusk starts to settle and the sun has set behind us.
Feels weird to be under these lights.
Yes,
in
it
the middle of
does.
June.
It's been a while. And usually by now it's about 50 degrees. If you're October, maybe even as low as it could be 40, 45. We've had some games get as low as rain, snow in about the 30s, and those have not been fun. Not the case right here as we're really enjoying today's game, as I'm sure everyone else got a great game. Off the shotgun snap, dropping back in the pocket, looking to roll out, and a loose pass that goes over the middle as it looked like a big hit was going to be anticipated there, but that could have been scary. Nonetheless, Oginski's pass just out of the reach of Rodney Webster. 13 seconds left as the clock stops on the incomplete pass.
He was definitely going for that huge hit as soon as he were to catch that, make contact with that.
Well, the scary thing was in that situation, Webster's whole body's going forward. He's trying to come up with a big catch right there. Looked like he almost was about to leave his feet, but then on the far sideline, it was going to be just as scary because you had the secondary coming on, and you're right. It looks like they're about to clash and be an ugly hit, but nonetheless, second down and 19 coming up. 13 seconds left on the clock. Oginski takes a snap. He's going to pull it himself, and he's got a lot of room. He fooled everyone. Finally breaks the 40-yard line, picking up a fair chunk before Team Grind finally realized that Oginski kept it himself and tucked it. So it looks like it's going to be about 3rd down and 10. As we hit the quarter mark here, we head to the 4th quarter. 17-14, Team Rise on top of the long-awaited, much-anticipated Flint Area High School All-Star Football game. Of course, this was the first of its kind. So very exciting 4th quarter coming up on the brink. Caitlin, I'm really excited for this 4th quarter because right now it's only a 3-point game.
Yep.
I think right now it's anybody's game.
You're right. It is anybody's game because we saw Rise push and push and push in the first half, and now we're seeing Grind push and push and push. So really it could go either way, and really, really excited to see what we get out of this.
12 minutes set up on the clock. This Team Grind only trails by about 3. Team Rise on the sidelines. And it's not going to end in a 17-14 game. Someone's going to score here, so Team Rise definitely going to have to try and put some more points back onto the board. Of course, a touchdown pushes it back to a crippling multi-possession advantage for Team Rise. Team Grind in this situation desperate to try and come up with a stop and ensure they have as much time left on the clock as they can to try and get back in this one.
You're right, they're going to use whatever they have left here.
Ball marked on the 40-yard line. 3rd down and just more than 11 or 10 yards, so it's 11 that Rise is going to have to get to try and get themselves a 1st down. If they do make the marker, they'll be inside the 30 and in scoring position, you would think. Oginski has trips formation to his far sideline in the shotgun. Takes the snap, drops back. Looking down the near sideline, up into the air, out of bounds. Looked like a big play right there. Rodney Webster just trying to track that ball, eventually wound up out of bounds. So a tough play, tough catch right there, and a very tough throw to make as you're Oginski to try and nip that corner over there. Broken up by Cahill Brownlee, of course, from Carmainsworth. We've seen him have some big-time breakups in this game so far today.
Yeah.
Add another one to the notch. Only 5 seconds rolled on that play. 11:55 remaining in the game. 4th down and 11 coming up for Team Rise. It'll be Oginski in the backfield. He's got the lone receiver split out to his far sideline. Oginski fakes the give, dropping back, play action pass along, straight on over the middle, fired, breaks the 30-yard line. That's Brett Perro. He's enjoyed going to him for a majority of the game through the air.
Yep.
He does again and gets another 1st down.
A reliable source on that team.
He is too, and that's the reason why right there. A big target, a big body, and he's able to jump up and catch a ball in traffic, even with some contact, and able to come down with it. Clock continues to run here as the chains are set up finally. 1st and 10 on the 28-yard line. After the catch from Brett Perro, Team Rise continues to chip their way down the field. Oginski in the shotgun. He sends Kemp in motion. Rolling around the right side, the give straight on up the middle. Wrapped up and dropped at about the 25-yard line, the give to Ryan Young. As we approach the 11-minute mark here, left in our game in the fourth quarter. Team Grind looking for a stop that could try and get themselves the ball back in their possessions as they trail by 3 now, 17-14. Team Rise in the whites, Team Grind in the all blacks. So now this time Oginski with a deuces formation. There's the snap, looking for the bubble screen along the right-hand side. Intended receiver Landon Mitchell, and he couldn't bring in the ball as it looked like he had a good play. Could have caught it, maybe chipped off some yards right there, but falls incomplete. So now 3rd and 6 coming up for Team Rise. This is a big 3rd down right here for Team Grind. You want to come up with that stop to get the ball back in your hands. Of course, you know, you maybe anticipate Team Rise going for it on 4th down, but nonetheless, this possession by Team Rise has really been a back-and-forth battle. A couple penalties, punching back and forth with big plays on offense and defense alike. It's interesting to see what Team Rise draws up in this situation. Oginski sends Kemp in motion. Gives it to Kemp straight on up the middle. Breaks the 25-yard line, wrapped up and tackled at about the 24-yard line. So 4th down and an even 5 to go for Team Rise. Let's see what they're going to do here. The consensus in the huddle is to go for it. And you think they would, because
so close.
One would give them it is close. One would give them a good lead. So they break the huddle here. 4th down and 5 coming on up for Team Rise. 9:35, clock continues to run. Oginski in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Tucks it himself, trying to look on up the middle, and a big stop by Team Grind. They will take over on downs as Oginski tries to keep it himself. As he does no damage on that play, Team Grind will take over on downs at about 25-yard line. 1st and 10 with 9:24 left on the clock. The consensus in the press box is that Grind is grinding back into this one. And that they have. They've been fighters the entire game. Oof. Ben Highchar, the quarterback, he remains under center. It looks like they've got 10 guys on the field. Finally, as they get the 11th, as Lance Ryson jogs onto the field, and Ben Highchar says, I'm a little lonely in this backfield, realizes he doesn't have his tailback right behind him. Highchar, quick throw on out to the far sideline. Right on up, easing past the 35-yard line, is finally tackled. Derek Ross, the catch right there from Highchar, as he gets a quick 1st down for Team Grind now on the 35-yard line. Clock runs, 9:15 left in our game. Caitlin, seems like it's really flown by so far, honestly.
Yeah, it really has. It's just been back and forth the whole time, so it's just pushing.
Highchar takes the snap, rolling on out. He's got to throw across his body. Lofts it all the way on up. Right on out of bounds. His intended receiver, Eric Hildebrand. Couldn't corral that one in as it was a bit too high for him. 2nd down and 10 coming up. And that's a tough throw. You're rolling out to the left-hand side.
Yep.
He's a right-handed quarterback.
Yep.
He's got to completely swivel his hips and try and throw across his body, and it's a very awkward throw to make on the run. You know, even some of the pros struggle with that. So definitely a tough throw to try and nail that accurately. Of course, he had to lob it over offensive defenders as well.
Yeah.
Hildebrand just lost that one a little bit too high. Looked like he might have been able to climb the ladder and come down with that one, but nonetheless, 2nd down and 10 coming up for Team Grind. High chart dropping back, faking the pump, and he had a man way open along the near sideline as he's wrapped up and dropped.
That fake pump gets him every time.
There is a man for Team Grind walking back to the 45, completely unguarded on that play. Highchar with the pump fake, but I'm not sure what he was anticipating in that one. That's a tough break right there. Could have been a big reception. Nonetheless, 3rd down and 10 coming up for Team Grind. Team Rise now with a big 3rd down scenario, trying to force a stop as they present the question if they would go for it. Highchart trying to do something about it. Lobs it over the middle, and he finds Hildebrand. Comes down with the catch. Breaking into the open, sheds a tackle. Touchdown, Team Grind. Just like that, they are on top. 7:57 left in the 4th quarter.
Good day.
And Highchart connects with Hildebrand on a beautiful connection. Hildebrand in traffic. That is not an easy catch. Rips it down, shedding off a defender and hitting the Jets in the open. Gives Team Grind a currently 3-point lead. Woo! Beautiful look right there across the middle of the field. Extra point team on now to try and make this a 4-point game. This is exactly what the fans came for, and this is exactly what the players knew was in store. Kick up and good. So with 7:57 left, Eric Hildebrand crosses the plane to give Team Grind 7 points now on top by 4. And Team Rise has a big possession ahead of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Now they've struggled here in the 2nd half. No points so far in the 3rd, and throughout the 4th quarter so far they have been scoreless. They had 14 points in the 1st quarter and only 3 since then. So definitely a lot of head scratching on the sideline of Team Rise as they figure out what they need to do to try and break the defense of Team Grind. A field goal won't do it. It'll only bring it to a 1-point lead for Team Grind, but a touchdown is what needs to be the recipe for Team Rise right now. So Davis kicks that one as it's caught right about the 15-yard line, or the 10-yard line, excuse me, as it's going to be moved on up to the 35-yard line. And so 7:57 left. Team Rise with a lot of time, no pressure right now. I mean, even if they don't, if they don't convert on a 4th down or they have to punt the ball away right here, they still have a lot of time to get their defense back out onto the field. But, I mean, you consider the fact, though, Team Grind scored 14 points so far here in the 2nd half. So definitely you want to wonder if your Team Rise, if you want to put your defense back out on the field. They have not had the best luck trying to stop Team Grind on offense. And to start the game, we didn't see them that much offense out of Team Grind, but they've really turned the table since then.
They turned that around. Definitely a second team sort of team, or 2nd half sort of team, excuse me.
And you anticipated that as well at the halftime break. You said, I think that Team Grind is going to be a 2nd half team, come out and answer. And they have done that so far here in the 3rd and 4th quarter so far. Rise back out onto the field. A double reverse, now looking for a pass. Heaves it straight on up into the middle of the field to the far sideline and just batted out of bounds. And that looked very dangerous right there. That's the play that we saw them practice. But it looked like not all the wheels were turning in that one.
Right, yep.
So a tough break right there. And so Zach Leadham, the quarterback, jogging back out onto the field for Team Rise with 7:49 remaining in the game. 2nd and 10 coming up for Team Rise. Lead him in the shotgun. Takes a high snap, tucks it himself, trying to find space on up the middle. Not a whole lot, as he just barely breaks the 35-yard line onto the 36. 3rd down and 9 coming up for Team Rise.
See how they're going to pull through this with a pass or throw, because really it's kind of hard to say at this point in the game, because now they're behind as they were just ahead.
And that's a tough answer, too, when you've been having a lot of success throughout a game and then out of nowhere you find yourself that you're unfortunately trailing a game, and you ask yourself, what to do and how to go about it. Lead him dropping back, facing some pressure. Heaves it up to the far sideline. It's Rodney Webster, unable to come down with it. He tried to swim past his receiver. Looked like maybe an interception was in the mix.
Yep. Right through the fingers of him, or the hands of them.
Put himself in good position to make a play on defense right there. And we haven't seen many deep passes. Of course, Hildebrand's catch was enough for a touchdown, but so far in this game, we really haven't seen a lot of deep balls and receivers able to come down with it. It's been a lot of cornerbacks and safeties coming in and crashing to make plays and break that pass up. So 4th and 9, and they do put on their punt team as that one booms across past the 30, bounces at about it went out of bounds before it crossed the 30, so the official's going to mark it back at the 34-yard line. So with 6:56 left in the game, Team Grind back on the field on offense as they have a 4-point lead, 21-17 over Team Rise. And so you would be led to believe a touchdown would do almost a fatal amount of damage.
Yeah.
A field goal would make it a 7-point game. So right now, Team Rise really pushing for a stop. If any points get on the board whatsoever, you would want to think that they hope for a field goal to keep it at a one-possession game.
Yep.
.656. All that stands for a much-anticipated night, and it has definitely lived up to the hype so far. 1st and 10 for Team Grinds. They take over at the 34-yard line. In the shotgun. That's Halbert going to tuck it himself and roll on out. He finds his way back into this game. Knocked down and tackled at about looks like the 35-yard line. Didn't get much on that play except the yard. So now Team Grind on the near hash mark. 2nd down and 9 coming up for Team Grind. Shimon Halbert.
Actually a All-Valley honorable mention All-State player. Shimon Halbert is.
And the run straight on up to the near sideline. Still not a lot going for Team Grind on offense here. 2 quick downs, only a few yards to show for it. Now 3rd and 7 coming up with 5:55 to play in our game. Neither team used a timeout so far here in the 3rd quarter, or what has shown for the 4th. Both with 3 timeouts left, respectively. And just as we say that, timeout taken on the field by Team Grind as they look to try and figure things out with 5:45 remaining on the clock. A big 3rd down coming up for Team Grind.
Got some really good players out here. I'm looking through this little packet of what they accomplished and their plans. Some really, really impressive stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome to see that all of these players have been successful to be, to really strive highly of themselves on and off the field alike. You look at some of those guys and what their career plans are. Some are going on to play collegiate football, some going on to be technicians, engineers. So it's awesome to see the range of interests, like you talked about in that packet. That it's really cool to see.
Yep.
Team Grind really using all of this timeout as Team Rise has found their way back out to the line of scrimmage as they're set for this third down.
After the timeout, Team Grind, third down and 7, ball on the 37.
So it's Halbert in the shotgun formation for Team Grind yet again. Catches the snap, throws it to the far side. And that one was broken up in that situation. It looked like just Derek Ross heard a lot of footsteps coming his way in that situation and realized that that play was well broken up. So 4th down and 7 now. Team Rise, a risky move to try and punt it back to a recently successful Team Grind, but just like that, giving the ball right back to Team Rise with 5:41 left in the game. So the snap, punt is off and away. Looks like it will be caught right at the 30-yard line is where the officials will mark them. And so our crowd has definitely diminished as the night has gone on, but those staying know that they're definitely in for what's going to be a very good finish.
Yep.
As it's been a great game so far. Not a lot to complain about. Both teams getting in a lot of players position-wise and on the line as well. 5:39 now all left. That's to show for the first annual Flint Area High School All-Star Game.
We've got a close one. Team Rise will start in their own 40. First down, Team Rise.
So we got this first down. They've got a little bit of a ways to push, over half the field to push.
That's right.
See how they come out of this with that much room.
5:39 left on the clock. 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. Rolling out, looking over the field, connects with Landon Mitchell at about the 47-yard line. But a flag all the way back at the 37. And this one might be coming back, as it will. Officials signaling for a holding call on the play. No signal as if it was offensive or defensive, as it will be marked against Team Rise. So with 5:33 left, offensive holding will move them back 5 yards. So now back to the 29-yard line is where the ball will be marked. And so now 1st down and about 11 to go. .520 remains to tick off. Team Grind holding on to a 4-point lead. Team Rise still 1st down and 11 coming up.
21. What's that? First and 21, Chris.
Oh, it is, excuse me, 1st and 21. So this game has continued to increase in intensity. 5 minutes as we just break the mark. Back in the pocket, the shotgun formation, the give along the far sideline. Wrapped up in tackle that looks like they did not break the line of scrimmage by much, only a few yards. Ryan Young, a big tackle, or excuse me, a run all the way to the far sideline. The ball carrier for Team Rise. Garrett Aginski back in for quarterback for Rise as he jogs over to the sideline to get the play call. Clock continues to run. 4:25 now left in the game. I think 2nd and long that they will possibly go in the air here as they have some very good set of hands all the way around on the receivers. Brett Perro, a favorable target so far in this game for Team Rise. He's the receiver on your near sideline. Aginski rolls back, looks to fire it on over the field and high overthrown. Looking for Rodney Webster from Hamady. And It looked like some miscommunication in between
Yeah.
Webster and Aginski on that one. That didn't look like the route that they planned on.
No, not at all. I think he intended for him to be a little bit quicker there and less coverage.
Maybe even a different route he was
Yeah.
supposed to run, or it looked like Webster broke towards the middle of the field, and he looks, and it's the ball's floating all the way over him. So
Yeah.
4:01 remaining on the clock, now third and very long. Now you ask yourself again, if you can't get a first down here, if you're this far back in the enemy territory, if you punt the ball away and send your defense back out onto the field, maybe use some timeouts, but that's, of course, all if they can't convert here. Aginski and Team Rise trying to do just that. 3rd and 19 coming up. Aginski in the shotgun, a high snap, dropping back, facing some pressure. Lobbed and overthrown. Intended receiver was Brett Perro, but looked like it was going to be a for sure interception. Tamris Kent coming on in trying to get the interception. Not sure if he was anticipating the deflection by Perro, but nonetheless, a decision for Team Rise to make if they're going to punt the ball away. And it looks like they are going to do that as they have Quentin Taylor, their designated punter in the game. Of course, we've seen he's got quite the leg, and of course a good set of hands as he's picked off a pass and taken it back to the house for Team Rise's 2nd touchdown of the day. That was back during the 1st quarter, so a long punt moves Team Grind all the way back and about the, looks like they're going to move it up 10 yards from the spot of the catch. So right around at the dead on of the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
3:50 left in the 4th quarter. So what, Team Grind, you think they're going to try and just keep it on the ground and kill some clock here and make Team Rise take some timeouts?
I honestly think you're 100% correct there. They're going to try and keep it away from them and keep making those little pushes.
That's right. That's the thing you don't really want to do, is risk a throw that could be intercepted in unfavorable territory, or even worse, we've seen Team Rise get an interception today and take it all the way back for 6.
And with that little time left, it'd be hard to really regain that possession.
That's right. These teams have traded punches back and forth. Team Grind looking for the knockout, but Team Rise trying to get another quick jab in to see if they can force their way back into this one. Shaman Albert in the shotgun. He's going to tuck it himself. A designed leak on out to the left-hand side or towards our near sideline. And some more extras over here all the way on the near sideline. Chris King over there from Brandon High School making sure he mixes it up a little bit.
A little more than a mix-up.
Yeah, that's right. But both teams split. It's a good thing.
Gonna get that little talk in about
Yep.
a less dangerous here.
So flag did fly on that play. Of course, it was out of bounds where all of the theatrics took place. So both teams meet back up at the 35-yard line. Both officials making sure that no words are exchanged anymore. We've only got about 3:45 left on the clock. 3:44, excuse me, and you know, not a lot of time. You want to make sure that you end this game cleanly. It's been fair for the most part. I mean, we've had a couple scuffs, but it's a football game.
Yeah.
You know, so you'd hope that you get through this one without anything serious breaking out. So 15 yards for the unsportsmanlike conduct. Automatic first down. Definitely not what Team Rise wanted right there on defense as they let emotions get the best of them in that scenario. 1st and 10 right at midfield. Albert's going to tuck it and keep it himself as he breaks midfield. Now towards the near sideline. Clock will continue to run as he was tackled in bounds. You think Team Rise right there would let him walk himself out of bounds, but...
Well, I thought I saw a bit of a slot there, and I was kind of wondering why he didn't run right through that. He was looking right at it a second, and then completely dodged it and went all the way around.
So clock runs Team Grind with 2 timeouts left. Team Rise with all 3 of theirs that they started the second half with.
I guess putting them on in to run the clock or something. Yeah.
And so as we approach the 3-minute mark, now under 3 minutes to play in this game, Albert making sure he takes all of this time for the snap. Finally the give to Jordan Cooper. A big tackle on that play by Eric Davis.
Eric Lewis.
And we're starting to see some emotions here get the best of both of these players. Jordan Cooper in there having to be restrained by former teammate Tyler North, and a timeout taken on the field. Team Rise takes their first time out of the second half, now down to 2. As both of these teams look to maybe, I would say, cool off a bit,
Yeah.
try and get themselves
Yeah.
settled down. Not a lot of game left, but of course a really close one, so both teams, want to try and ensure that, of course both teams want to win this game, so they're
Yeah.
both going to try and fight, but, now you've got the winning team in there mixing it up a little bit. And you want to make sure that this gets over cleanly, and whoever wins, but they do so in a clean fashion.
Definitely getting a little more aggressive out there, and Zim said no aggressiveness.
That's right.
So I'm sure he's not too happy down there.
Well, we saw Eric Lewis with the tackle right there. He turned and started to get the crowd to pump up, and that's kind of what started it. We talked about Eric Lewis will be in maroon and gold on this field. Back in the pocket, rolling out. Albert fires it over the middle, and it just a little bit too low and to the left in that situation. It was intended for
And hear those yells down there.
Marcus Washington, I believe. Again, tough to see those numbers, of course, when it gets so dark out. 2:43, clock stops, 4th and 25. So, honestly, a dream scenario for Team Rise. They only used 1 timeout, barely any time, took off the clock. 2:43 left in the game, and Team Rise is going to get an honest chance here. You better hope that this punt's going to be a deep one, because they're back at the 35-yard line. I know, that's a beautiful
Really?
punt. That is a beautiful punt.
That was really nice.
All the way back to the 13-yard line. Say 13-yard line, a beautiful punt. I still can't get over. Still can't get over that. Goodness gracious. Jacob Mattis with a beautiful spiral on the end of it too. That's what gave it that travel. 2:36, Team Rise is going to be pretty deep in their own territory. They've got all of their 2 timeouts and 2 minutes and 36 seconds left to try and chip away at this field territory that they're at right now, back against in their 13, 14-yard line, and this is going to be an interesting finish, to say the least. First and 10 at the 13-yard line. Shotgun snap, dropping back, facing some pressure from both sides, lobs it on up over the middle. And a tough play right there as Leadham was quickly flushed out of the pocket and was all the way back to his own goal line, where he realized he had to get rid of that ball rather quickly.
But Torbert still can't get over him.
He was a terror right
Animal.
there.
In practice, one of those days, I don't remember who it was. He took one down, and the kid was grasping for air because he pushed him down so hard.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so strong. Strong and big.
2:31 left in the fourth quarter here. Team Grind on defense, holding on to a 4-point lead. Like we said earlier, a field goal cannot do enough. Only a touchdown is what's in store for Team Rise. That's all they can ask for right now. 2.5 left to play in the fourth. In motion, a beautiful give off the edge. Trying to catch a few blocks up the sideline. Knocked out at about the 26, 27-yard line. And another timely hit. No whistle right there, but another one that was a little bit too late out of bounds.
Chris, I'm really starting to wonder how this is going to play out.
Yeah, you never really do know. With how games like this are going to be so close. Team Rise trying to fight their way back into this one. They led for a majority of the game. Team Grind, really the second half team to come out and stop Team Rise came out with a big pass, and then they ended up forcing a stop, getting 2 touchdowns right after that in the third and fourth quarter, now holding on to a 4-point lead. 2:25 left to play, and let's see how this one goes. Lehman in the backfield. Takes the snap, rolling on out to the near sideline. Trying to set, throws all the way on up, one-on-one. Oh, it was almost caught. Rodney Webster had a chance. Oh, and he knows it too. And in again, that's Cahill Brownlee in there to break that one up.
Would have been such a nice play.
Yeah, that's what you wanted right there. Man-on-man coverage. Just let your receiver go on up and get it. And it looked like he was about to shed off the secondary and almost came down with that one, but nonetheless, 2:16 left, 2nd and 10 coming up. Team Rise still with a few more chances. Don't really need a home run ball right there. I mean, I like the look just to try and give it a shot, but you got a lot of time left on the clock, and the first down is only 10 yards away, and you're 2nd down. So I'd say right now just try and knock off a chunk of the 10, set yourself up with a fresh new start. In the backfield, wrapped up and dropped. Ryan Young trying to shake free and catch some yards, but nonetheless, that's going to bring up 3rd down. About 10 yards to go. Just past 2 minutes to play in the ball game. Clock continues to run. Team Rise in their huddle. They need something big here on 3rd down to try and set themselves up with a fresh set of downs. So both teams trying to rush to the line. Team Grind not liking what they see from their secondary. Looked like they were a little bit mixed up on that play. So they call a timeout with 1:37 left. Caitlin, you're looking at 3rd and 10. Not a lot of time left, and they're back in their own zone. What do you think we're going to expect from Team Rise here?
Why would you put that question on me now? This is really, really hard. I was on Grind the whole time. I'm still on Grind. I'm still thinking
Grind. They're
Grind.
going to pull away? Okay. I mean, it's looking in their favor right now, honestly. You know, with not a lot of time left, 3rd down, they have the momentum.
All it takes is one good pass and one misstep.
That's right. That is right. And you looked back earlier, and it looked like Lehman had a beautiful ball downfield.
Yeah.
Webster unable to come down with it, and you thought that was going to be the look, but nonetheless.
There's been a lot of those.
Yes, there has. A lot of balls up in the air, and for the most part, it's been either dropped, but yeah, it's been tough so far for both of these teams to try and come away with those deep balls. But nonetheless, 1:37 left on the clock in the game. This is really what we've been anticipating so far, is a big-time finish, and we hope that we see one here under the lights. Leadham catching the snap, mixed up into the backfield at his own 12-yard line, hurls it on up to the sideline, knocked down, and flags fly. And coaches on Team Grind want a trip, but the officials are going to talk this one over. I'm really not sure. It looked like he lost his footing and tripped.
It really did, yep.
Let's see what they call here.
Landon Mitchell called it a trip, but
And so the official's going to wave it off. And coaches on Team Rise not happy about that one, but in that situation, it looks like footing was just lost by Pero over there on the near sideline. And I mean, it's an unfortunate happen of events, but nonetheless, 4th and 10, 1:29 left on the clock. And Rise needs nothing but 10 yards here, or more.
yeah.
You never know. So that's team grind. You know, in the secondary, you can't fall asleep in this one. You never know maybe what Team Rise has been keeping under their sleeve this whole time.
Yep.
Let's see what they've got. Lead him in the backfield. He's got trips formation to the near sideline. And we're going to get a timeout. Team Rise going to want to talk things over here as they burn a crucial timeout here late in the game to get their team together and talk things over. Now both teams down to only one timeout apiece. And so an interesting scenario now. Your Team Rise, you end up getting this first down. Only one timeout to go the remaining of the field.
Yep.
Now the clock does stop every time there's a first down to reset the chains and stuff, but it's going to be interesting to see how they manage this clock. Not a lot of time left. 21-17 our score currently. Team Grind on top of Team Rise by a slim margin of 4. So a touchdown will do it for Team Rise. What does the boys in white have in store? One last time, you would think, or if they can get a first down and save face and set themselves up with yet another fresh start. Team Grind has stopped Team Rise for a majority of the second half, and they're looking to do so one last time. Lead him in the backfield. He's got trips to the near sideline. 2 receivers off to the far. Lead him, catching the shotgun snap, rolling on out to the far sideline. Sets, heaves a throw all the way downfield on up into the air, and it's caught! Knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line, and a big reception. And Team Rise is alive. Woo! 1:20 left on the clock, and we are not done.
Found out what they had under their sleeves.
And who do you think it is? Rodney Webster, the lone man who was in the open and dropped a pass way downfield, able to corral that beautiful over-the-shoulder grab. A beautiful connection between Leadham and Webster. 1:20 left in the game. Rise still trails by 4. 1st and 10 on the 15. Woo.
Now I know why he was placed in the first team all-conference.
That's right. Lead him in the backfield. Crowd knows what to expect here. He sets Webster in motion. Lead him stops. Jump ball into the corner of the end zone. Broken up. Knocked incomplete. Only 5 seconds ticked off the clock right there. Team Rise going for the knockout punch on first down as it falls incomplete. Second down and 10 at Team Grind's own 15-yard line. Graham Blanks lead him back onto the field now. 2 receivers to his right side. That's Kemp in motion again off the edge. Trying to get a few yards, and he will. Clock continues to run. Team Rise only with 1 timeout, but they're going to let some of this clock tick off and burn. 3rd down and about 6, I'd say, as we are now under a minute to play here in the 4th quarter. A field goal will not do the trick, so they need to find the end zone here in the next couple plays. Team Rise has some time, but they're still, of course, trying to hurry to the line because you never know how many more plays they just might need. Lead him with 2 to his left. Stacked formation off to his right. Sends Webster in motion. Leadham stops. He's going to tuck it himself. Straight on up the middle, wrapped up and dropped. At about the, I'd say, the 6-yard line. Clock stops at 27 seconds left, and Rise has to burn their final timeout. And so just like that, we find ourselves in the final moments of this fantastic game so far. 21-17, Team Rise now looking to try and punch it in one final time. They have not scored a touchdown in the second half. Only a field goal to show for it so far. Or excuse me, no points at all. 17-7 was our score. So now it's time, I think, for Team Rise to find the end zone as they believe. 21-17. We've been waiting for this one.
It's time for Team Rise to grind.
Yeah? You think so? I like that. Time for Team Rise to grind. Team Grind, however, on defense finds their backs into the end zone. They're looking to try and come up with one more stop. 4th and 2. Both teams meet back to the line of scrimmage.
I'm back to those goosebumps I had before the game.
So Team Rise, it looks like they have a lot of commotion going on right now. They are very confused. They've got 10 on the field right now. Leadham gonna set and take the snap. Miscommunication, he keeps it himself. Wrapped up and dropped. And a big stand-up defensive effort by Team Grind. Team Rise with a lot of miscommunication and not enough in the tank. Jelani Taylor has been an absolute liability for Team Grind so far. And now they're going to run the clock and let this one run right out. What a finish to an absolutely amazing game. 10 seconds left, just going to tick on off now. Team Grind able to come up with a big-time stop on the goal line and come away with a big win.
You're right. That was just, I said I got the goosebumps back, and I really did get the goosebumps and the chills back. When that sideline stood up and jumped, I knew. I knew before that, but I knew that that's what was supposed to happen. That's what they've been waiting for.
And that's what we love so much about football is moments like that. Team Grind coming up with a big stop with their backs in their own end zone, able to squeak away with a 21-17 win. Caitlin, looking back on the game, final thoughts about this one. Team Grind really trying to figure their way out through the first half. They got their feet wet, really trying to find their spot in the second half. It looks like they got into the locker room, got a much-needed rest, found out what they needed to do on both offense and defense, and then came out into the game and finally came away with the big win.
They got that little taste in the first half of Rise. They knew right after that what they had to do. Like you said, dip their toes in the water and found out how to swim. So June 11th, 2016, mark it in the history books, the 2016 Flint Area All-Star Game, the first ever. And in the series, Team Grind comes away with the first win. And so we want to thank you for listening to today's game on DTV. I'm Chris Sherritt alongside Caitlin Abdella. So long from Davison, Michigan. We thank you for listening and have a great night.